Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem, and I got a couple of things I want to talk about today. There's been a few things that's happened, and I don't want to harp on this too much because I don't want to harp on any negatives. Good morning, Shamika. Good morning to you, sister. Glad to have you. Definitely glad that I appreciate you, Shamika. I see you on here quite a bit with us, man, and I definitely appreciate you joining us. If you get an opportunity or you want to be a part of the conversation, we love to have you. As with everybody else, the phone number is 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We talk about a whole range of different things on here, man, and we love to have you all's input. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind doing so, let's do a state roundup. Let's do a state roundup right now, and roll call, if you will. Let me know where you're hailing from. Right in the comment box on what city or state that you're in. Just like to do that to keep tabs on who we're talking to and where you're hailing from. We get quite a few listeners every day, and I definitely appreciate each and every one of you taking the time, knowing that you could be doing anything that you want to do, and that you tune in and that you will allow us to be a part of your morning. We definitely appreciate that. We don't take it for granted, man. We definitely appreciate it, and I look forward to you coming back, and hopefully we have some conversations that motivate you, inspire you in some kind of way, and make you want to be a better person. Do, let me stop right there for a second. Do you think that's the case? Do you think everybody? Do you really think that everybody want to be good people? Or there's some people out there that's just nasty to the core, and they're just content with being nasty. I don't want to think that way about people, but is it the truth though? Is it do you run into some people? Yeah. Prime example. I've had situations where I've said to people, and I've heard other people say it as well. You go up to somebody, man. It's the morning time. It's early in the morning. You can't be mad in the morning. It's early in the morning. You can't be mad in the morning. But you go up to some people, you say, "Good morning." They look at you. What's so good about it? Wow. Wow. And let me see. BNG, good morning to you. Good morning, Joseph. Good to have you as well. Um, and in my mind, I start thinking, how could you be so mad? You just got up out of the bed. You just woke up. You just got to work. It's morning time. It's morning. You had your first cup of coffee or whatever, tea or whatever it is that you like to drink. You've had your first take of that, and you come in here to this workplace. I say to you, I'm in a good mood, and I hope that you are as well. I'm having a good day. My day just getting started. I come to you. I said, "Well, good morning. How you doing?" Because I speak to anybody that know me. They'll tell you I speak to everybody. I don't care whether you're black, white, orange, polka dot, lily stripe. I don't care if you got whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna say hello to you. And my grandmother raised me a way. She said, you even acknowledge you give dog respect." And people are, to me, people are, are amazing. Some people are absolutely amazing. And so my thing is this, man. If I come to you in the morning and I say good morning to you, and your response to me is was mm. And most of the time they got the little attitude, they got the little thing. What's so good? They got the little smack. I don't know what that smack thing is. I don't know what this. That little smack go with it. What's so good about it? Now, if I got to sit here, now if I have to sit here early in the morning and explain to you what's good about a day, early in the morning, early in the morning, I got to explain to you what's good about a day. Something is wrong with you. Something is seriously wrong with you. If I have to sit here and I say, Rico, good morning. Rico, man, listen, Rico, good morning, brother. How you doing this morning? This thing got me hyped already.
Man, I can't complain at all, man. I can echo.
You hearing an echo?
Yeah, real bad.
Okay, let me turn this off, turn this back on. I think that's what it might be right there. Let me hit this right here and turn that back off. That make it go away. Then hopefully this when it come back on, hopefully that got rid of it. Did that get rid of it?
We're fixing to see. Yeah,
Okay.
man, I can't complain, man. I'm more than elated to have another beautiful new day to enjoy the
See,
experience.
see, now, everybody that's been listening to me from the beginning, that's what I'm talking about right there. See, and Rico, he's very consistent with that. Man, look, every morning, and we be together every morning. Every morning, I say good morning, Blanche. How you doing this morning? And he'll say, I'm so excited and I'm elated to have an opportunity to have a great. That's what you do. But Rico, I'm talking about right now, man. When I was in the workplace, I used to go to work early in the morning. Early in the morning, man. Sometimes I had to get to work at 6:45 or whatever the time I had to be there. And I see people, and I try to, after I found out who they was, I kind of avoid them a little bit. But if you go up to them, you say good morning, and their response to you is, and they always got the little, I don't know what the little smack thing they smack their lips, but what's so good about it? And my thing is, that's to me that's a horrible person, because my thing is, if I have to explain to you early in the morning, God gave you another opportunity to get up and, like you say, to see a brand new day. If I have to explain to you what's so good about it, Rico, something is wrong.
Well, what might be wrong is life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, sometimes people don't get to lay down and have a peaceful night of sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and they wake up to some mess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I get out here and walk, man. It's dark when I get out and walk, man. 4:30, 5 in the morning, and I can hear a couple arguing sometimes
Good Lord.
early in the morning. I'm like, man, well, maybe they hadn't even been asleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you take the workplace for instance. Somebody fed up with the work environment, but they gotta work. This is the job that they got to have to take care of themselves, to pay their child support, keep from getting the license suspended or whatever. And they working in an environment with a lot of lazy people, unaccountable people. It's just, disorganized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They might not be having a good day. They might be tired of that place. I'm back up in here again. So I mean, when I know those situations happen. I know right now people that went to work, put in 40 hours, and then they didn't get paid
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of mismanagement.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't put their time in. You know what I'm saying? They got to wake up that next morning knowing, man, here it is. I still put this work in. I ain't got paid, and I need this money to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
Today might be eviction day.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I can do is try to make things their ease their frustrations a little bit
Mm-hmm.
by just giving a little better energy from my part, but not just assume that just because I'm happy and life is good. Life ain't even good for me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I'm still glad to be able to go through this experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can even let them know that, hey man, cause listen, there's people walking off the side of skyscrapers right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Black women, white men, billionaires walking off the side of buildings because of what life has brought to them and the choices they made in it. So I mean, everybody ain't gonna wake up feeling like it's a good morning.
But see,
I have to exist knowing that.
exactly, and I can accept that as well. But my thing is the world that I live in, the world that I live in, and not saying that you and our world are different. I'm just saying the world that I live in myself. I, I'm not if even if I'm in a situation like that, I'm gonna do whatever I could do to get myself out of that situation, to do something different. And I've always been that guy, man. I've always been the one. If I'm not happy in a situation, I'm getting up out of there. But I'm not gonna because I'm not happy. I'm not gonna try to bring other people down or affect their day or make them feel like I feel. I'm not gonna do that. If I'm not, man, someone I come on here. I've been doing this thing for a long time. Someone I come on here, man. I'm not in the best of places, but nobody will never know. Nobody would never know that I'm not in a good place. I'm gonna be Raheem every day I come on here. And if I'm having a
Right.
if I'm having a
Right.
bad day, or if things are not going well in my life or my kids' life or whatever it is, no one would never know by the way I present myself. I'm not, I'm just not, I don't give up. I'm not gonna give up that energy. I'm not gonna give up. And so my thing is that's the energy. Even if your situation, and I know you pretty much the same way, Rico. You could be in a situation, man, and I've seen you. We've talked about several things, and things may not be perfect for you, but you're not gonna let that spill over. into nobody else. You gonna always be Rico. And if you don't feel like talking about it, you're not gonna talk about it. You know, you don't want, but you're not gonna let pull no negative energy into a situation. You're not gonna do that. And I know that from dealing with you every
Well,
day.
I try not to,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I still know that there are people out there that don't know how to handle it this my way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I can't just look at it through my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when I see that some people don't know how to handle frustration, or they don't know how to communicate when they're in a situation like that, I sort of find a way to covertly advise them on how to do that a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
by
Mm-hmm.
letting them know I understand where they're coming from. Because the minute you could get them to relax and calm down a little bit, they gonna follow your example and see just how easily you flip that scenario or you change that energy just by talking to them
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
getting them to see a different way or getting them to appreciate the good, the benefits or whatever the bright spots that's going on that can help them get out that situation.
You know what?
Whenever people hear about solutions, they
Mm-hmm.
feel better.
You know what? One
So
of the
when go ahead.
no, one of the things. I don't want me to cut you off. I apologize to you for that, but one of the things, man, that I'm so appreciative of, man. I'm gonna tell you one of the things
What's that?
I'm so appreciative that God is not like man. Because if God was like man, we'll be in a terrible situation. Because um we can be, and I say we, as a way of speaking, I say that, but we could be so man. We could be terrible. Man could be terrible sometime, man. And I say man, that's man and woman inclusive, but could be terrible sometime, man. And they could take a beautiful situation, life, the gift that God give us, like you say, the gift God give us every day, because He don't have to wake us up, man. But because of the fact that He cares so much about us, He give us another opportunity to right the wrongs that we did yesterday. He give us another opportunity to have a better and a greater day. If God was like man, we wouldn't have this opportunity, man. We wouldn't have it. Because man, for one thing, man hold on to things too long. We hold on, we'll hold on to it, and we'll hate somebody for 20 years for something that makes no difference at all. Man, we could be something else. Let me do this. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Talk to me, Rico.
Yeah, no, that's the way I go about it. I mean,
Mhm.
like I said, sometimes you run across people that just don't know how to communicate when they get mad, they got anger issues or whatever. And if once you take yourself out of it and you sort of understand where they're coming from, or you can relate why they feel that way.
Mhm.
You can actually feel it. Then you put yourself in their shoes and then you bring it around full circle, man, to I mean, man, it takes a lot, but at the same time, I guess that's the gift of being an empath. You
Mhm.
know, is getting people to understand just how special another opportunity to live another day is, just
Mhm.
how precious this is.
Mhm.
Um, but see, some people do get it, and they still hate this existence, man. They was talking about this little influencer the other day. This young sister, she killed herself, but she waited till her boyfriend went out of town so he couldn't stop her.
Mm.
And the suicide letter, he posted it. And it's like, it was almost to a point where she was like, man, no matter what anybody did, or no matter what I did that made me happy, that wasn't true happiness. She just felt like that she didn't like life and what it consisted of no more. And I'm like, I can't understand that. Because me, I enjoy hearing birds chirp.
Exactly. Exactly.
I enjoy watching kittens play,
Mhm.
or puppies frolic around and run and do the little things that they do. I love to see happiness and joy. And I'm trying to figure out how is it that people can fake enjoying happiness unless
Mhm.
they think happiness is a fraud. And I don't see that as a fraud. I know what joy and happiness feels like. So, um, man, sometimes it's hard to relate to people or
Mhm.
get them to understand that. But sometimes you do have to sit down and just get in that position, because it's hard to even put yourself down in that position to a bottom where somebody gets to the bottom like
Yeah.
that despair.
Mhm.
You have to sort of try to relate to that despair and still try to sort of show them that bright light in that tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
If they just keep looking around, it's still a bright light because you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
You got lungs. You got a ticking heart, a beating heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so you have an opportunity, man, and then you just bring up all the times, try to find up different things that made them laugh. Different times in life that things were fun, and they really enjoyed being alive, and letting them know, hey, man, that's worth wanting to experience again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I feel that way, man. I mean, I go through it sometimes, man, but I was at one point in time, I was that child that laid down from some terror and had to wake right back up to possibility of terror,
Mm-hmm.
or
Wow.
just to act like last night didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Can is it sometimes draining, man, to have to deal with situations and people that's like that, that's in that vein, if you will? Is it Can it be draining? That energy, can that energy consume you?
It can, I mean, but when you take yourself out the picture and
Mm-hmm.
think about the fact that you might save a little 8 or 9 year old from killing themselves,
Mm-hmm.
then it's worth draining me.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason a child should wake up every morning and dread going to school to the point of where they want to do something to themselves. But
Mm-hmm.
that's happening. That is the world we live in. So, when you say good morning and some people ain't ready to receive it that same way, I can understand it because people have to go out here into this world.
Mm-hmm.
And man, this is a crazy, weird place out here, full of greedy, addicted people.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just don't like the atmosphere we live in. They don't see the unity. They don't see the village. They begging for it. They know it's something. Some people don't even know that it exists, but they know something is off because people are too self-consumed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, man, I get it. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but some people wake up every morning in a bad place because they went to sleep in a bad place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So basically, what I'm hearing you say is sometimes people just don't have that escape, or don't acknowledge the fact that there is an escape there. They just trapped. They feel as though they are trapped in that, and they have to live and exist in that place.
Right, right. It might be too much pain, too much despair. I mean, people lose hope. I mean, I hear people say all the time, I don't even want to date black women no more. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even want to date black men no more. You hear
Mm-hmm.
that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They tired. I mean, and that's on a lighter note, getting away from the suicide. But I mean, it's just a lot of people that's in bad places, and it's hard to get them out of that trauma or whatever it is that they had an overabundance of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people had a lot of overabundance of trauma and dysfunctional behavior.
And see, my thing is, I don't want to be insensitive to what you're saying, and I know that that does exist, and the people are there. Some people are there. I just myself, man. I try to refuse to live in that existence. And if I'm in a situation like that, I'm quick, man. I've done it many times, man. I'm getting up out of there, man. I can't stay. I can't deal with the energy. I can't deal with the energy that's here.
Mm.
And a lot of times, man, and that's what it is. That energy that's out there, man. Energy is either positive or negative. And if it's a negative energy, I can't coexist with it. I can't.
If they enjoy it or embrace that type of energy,
Hmm.
like in prison, how they have fun. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
you ever been? I mean, you ain't never been locked up before.
Hmm.
You get in there. Sometimes you see people just embrace the environment. They just
Hmm.
adapt to it and love it.
Hmm.
Or people just like they say how honor amongst thieves. For some reason thieves seem to know how to gravitate towards each other, so they have a certain mindset.
Hmm.
No, I ain't fixing to try to bring light to that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I do try to bring light, when I see somebody actually is living for negative, living for evil, no, I don't want to bring light to that. But
Hmm.
if I'm just in a situation where I know people just want to be around people or people are needing to find a reason to live, then I'll bring light to those situations
Hmm.
if I can. But
Hmm.
not to those that want to sit back and plot on um touching women or just doing devious things. No, I ain't fixing to bring no light to that. I got to get away from you.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
ain't gonna even try.
Exactly. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. This is This is the morning. I was going to say real men, being men. This is the morning glow. This is the morning glow. We're here every day from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'd love to have your input on what we're talking about. Give us a call. Again, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Rico, did you hear about this situation in Memphis?
Yeah, man. You know, they actually got a website where you can see the video. This World Star Hip Hop, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the devil. The CIA or somebody is putting that up there to have a Call of Duty effect on people because it will desensitize you. I almost watched that video, but I stopped.
Yeah.
When I saw the boy get out the car and he started talking about people talking about fake book. He was talking something crazy. And I stopped and I said, I'm not going to watch this because I already know what happened. So I didn't need to see it again. But yeah, man, I mean, man, I don't even know where to begin with that, man. I mean, it sort of reminds you of when that guy got mad at his ex-girlfriend or whatever and just pulled up and shot that old black man that time. And he recorded it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that people are recording themselves killing other people. What was that? 3 weeks ago, the young man went live before he killed his son. You know, maybe did he kill himself? Man, I mean, man, I just. Well, where you want to go with this, man?
No, I'm just no. I mean, no. I was just wondering had you seen or had you heard? Because I'm like you, brother. I don't even want to see it. I've heard talk about it. I heard people, the news talking about it and things like that, man. But when they get to the point where they're gonna show any, and they on the news, they can't show the whole video. But when they're gonna show a piece or a part of it, man, I don't even want to see that, man. I turn the channel or whatever because I don't want to partake in it. I don't even want to put that in my spirit, man, because that's, to me, that's just evil. That's evil, man. And it takes an evil individual to go out there, man. And they said it was like 20 some hours and 20 some hours, man. He was just out there just doing what he wanted to do. Killing people, man. Killed quite a few of them, man, and injured, just shooting people, man. What,
Now, you know what? This is gonna make some people mad. But the only time I've seen something similar to that is in movies and in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Think about it now. A lot of people are in so much denial about the children because this guy's about that age of where he grew up from the very first episode of Grand Theft Auto to the one now. Now you got grown people still playing that game that has no type of logic or purpose at all. And if you do play for a logic or purpose, which is the missions, it's still doing all of this mess to get money and be rewarded for completing missions. A whole lot of debauchery, a game full of debauchery. And it's a hot seller. And and the company that owns it and produces this is owned by that corporation I told y'all to look up that time. But some people don't like to go back and actually look up that information. Bolloré is the very bottom of the line of the ownership. It go through like 7 or 8 different hands. But they are the company that produces this material. And you see it only on video games. And like I said, maybe movies. I think it was a movie called Fallen with Michael Douglas a long time ago, but he was pretty much like a vigilante. This boy here just wanted to do it just because it was chaos. And he wanted to hurt people. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, we see this mass shooting stuff going on. That's pretty much what he did with a mass shooting killing spree. But you have seen this more often because you see it being more popular and coming just for entertainment. So now people they don't have any inhibition about doing a lot of these things that they're doing, and we're asking, man, what's going on with society? People just doing anything right now. Well, it starts from being introduced and made curious to want to experience some of this stuff. I mean, we watch wrestling coming up, and a lot of children start want to go out and be the wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what humans do. So the people that love to, like yesterday, how when everybody that said they like T.I. got offended by me holding him accountable and telling the truth about how he go back and forth on his actions. They didn't pay attention to the facts. They just took it as I was condemning him. I like the man too, but I don't like how he flip-flops. But when you like people, when you like games, when you like gambling, when you like smoking, you know what I'm saying? Whatever promotes that, you're going to think it's okay.
And the thing about it, I looked at the news, a little bit of the news last night. Well, no, it was like the 12 o'clock news, and they were interviewing Ti where he was explaining the trap house and everything that the trap house does and what it means to the city, to the state, and to the industry. He was talking about that, man, and I was like, wow, we just spoke about that this morning. I said, Ma, we just spoke about that this morning. We got
And see, no matter how he finagle that, it ain't gonna justify him trying to make it seem like it's something positive. It's almost like us trying to take the word bitch and nigga and make it a term of endearment. We can't do that. You can't make nothing positive about the trap unless you just talk about the fact that people made money. Oh, well, dang, we know money ain't the source of greatness, ain't the source of righteousness.
Exactly.
It ain't really the source of success. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's when people like things, they like people, you can call them groupies or idol worshippers, or you could just call them addicts. Like I said, people that like gambling, At one point in time, people didn't like the lottery. Certain people went out and rallied against it. But little by little, people like gambling a little bit more. And then they said, well, hey, let's make the lottery legal. People didn't like marijuana, but now all of a sudden, a lot more people like it. So they made it when it made it legal. It's okay, man. It's acceptable. So it's the same thing with people doing mass shootings. They're exposed to entertainment. And I hate to put it on entertainment, but where else can you be getting this rush of activity and behavior like this from?
Exactly.
We all know about human influence. So, I mean, sometimes we just have to point the finger at what it really is and then ask why would somebody even want to put out things like that as entertaining? Because now you could go and find a real life video. Like I said, you can go to World Star Hip Hop right now and look at the real live video of what this boy did in AutoZone.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
With no blurs.
Man, listen. And to your point, let me get them again, 508-924-3521. And we have Mr. Hicks with. I'm gonna go to Mr. Hicks in just 1 second. But to your point, when you're saying about the movies, they go and they look at the movies, cowboy movies, and they will come out want to be the Cowboys. And another example of that is I know everybody on here had at one point or another. If you ever looked at martial arts movie, where they in there doing all the kicking. Now, how many times you came out of that theater want to kick each other and chopping up?
Exactly. We all want to be Bruce Lee and Superman too.
Exactly. How many times you came out that movie theater? You don't look at the kung fu movie. They don't been there doing whatever they're gonna do, man. You come out now, all of a sudden you and your buddies y'all kicking each other and chopping it. You all you do. I'm gonna tell you something. If they got a theater, they got like 4 or 5 movies going on at the same time, different movies. You sit there and you sit in that parking lot and you watch. You can tell who watched that martial arts movie because they're gonna come out there chopping and swinging and kicking and all kind of things, man. Crazy.
Hey, man, how many people you see buying the ninja outfits and the ninja shoes when that was hot?
Exactly.
Walk around with nunchucks. You know what I mean? People, they follow the trend.
That's it. That's exactly what they do. Mr. Hicks, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Ryan. Family.
Good morning, sir.
Doing pretty good.
Man, look here, man. We talk about some things. We hadn't got to our topic of the day, but we're talking about a few things right now. What we're talking about now is the guy in Memphis. I don't know if you've seen it already. The guy in Memphis that went on the little shooting and killing spree. And Enrico made a very good point where he said that that's like the video games, man. Grand Theft Auto, whatever the video games are, where they actually go out there and shooting people. Are we being programmed, man? Are we being programmed, or are we to a certain degree in this day and time somewhat sensitized, I guess, desensitized towards this whole situation of murder and killing?
Wow. When I was listening to the conversation, I was thinking about the term Hollywood that comes from the holly tree by the Druids, who were musicians. And define the whole structure of television was organized after the experience in Germany, propagandists and programming, and they recognized that if you put things in front of people over and over again, saturating with them, that there's a certain potential possibility in the population, a certain percentage of people that are easily influenced and easily hypnotized. Everyone can't be hypnotized, but a lot of people, a large portion, are susceptible. It's always in my belief when these things happen, and they always happen around these times, real close to a decision, a political decision, or election. That's when these things come out, become highlights for debate,
Mm-hmm.
and the refocus people's interest. But yeah, I studied the MK Ultra program, the programming done by the CIA and the Jessups,
Mm-hmm.
and when they I read this one account. This is certain people under extreme terror and torture actually levitated off the tables when these people was torturing them.
Mm.
Some of them, some of them broke, even though they was tied down on a burning thing, to burn them. They would tap in some kind of strength to make them break away from their bondage and run down the road in flames. So they found something. They was doing all these studies about the human mind, how to program it, how to remove thoughts, how to make them be able to commit acts unknowingly, programmed. And a lot of times when they study all of these kids and people that do these mass shootings, they have some kind of connection somewhere in their family. Somebody was deeply involved in the military,
Mm.
and these kids are groomed for these things, set up like the sleepers from Russia. And that KGB would send sleeper cells over here that didn't even know they were programmed, but then they would get a phone call or hear certain sequence of sounds, and they go do this act, whether it's shooting John Lennon, whether it's attempt to shoot the Pope or a president.
Mm-hmm.
I think we live in a time now where we are so easy to be refocused off of the issues and allow ourselves to be played.
Mm-hmm.
But people, I think people are waking up. This is, I believe, in the day. This is what they call those days of revealing, the revelation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all those things talked about Johns. But yeah, we're programmed.
Mm-hmm. Rico, what do you think the motivation is of the company that you named making these games? Because they have to know what the end result is going to be. Because I'm sure they've done certain researches and they know what the end result is going to be. So outside of the money, what is the motivation?
I mean, control, money.
Oh,
I mean, just the self preservation,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of these people look alike too.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
That's one thing. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of people might be in denial about that, but they don't look like us.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to control all the resources and manipulate and sabotage and organize coups to overthrow countries so these countries could work in their benefit for business.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of sinister stuff, man, for control and money. Mainly control, because the money system, we already discussed that, man. That's just something that they made us adapt to. That's another part of the program. And once you look at once you look at the paper, the size of it, the ink and the print of the number, it makes you wonder, well, how is it that I could get more for one than the other, besides the fact that I just was programmed by how many digits was wrote on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Mm-hmm.
people so good at making counterfeits. Some people got smart and said, well, you know what? I could go and make this stuff myself. And the
Mm-hmm.
government said, "Whoa, you too smart. Come in, we're gonna lock you up. Better yet, we'll put you to work for us."
Mm-hmm.
Because the smart people understand, man, it's just paper. Yeah, it has value. Yeah, we got to use it, but that's only because we embraced it and conformed to it. And when we seen it at work, we liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reason why they do it, because they got to make sure that system continues to work. Because they got people going along with it. So if they can control the resources and keep certain people in certain places, and they can invest and create business to keep control, like prison industries, slavery, new slavery, Jim Crow, all these different things they can create to make sure they can have some type of dominance or favor or advantage. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and that's a weird way of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you consider yourself being a Christian or believing in a higher power. How could you actually want to control all the resources? But now think about it like this: the way human beings are made, if there was no group of people that actually set the rules, there probably would be chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So to a certain extent, you have to have groups of people and societies in place to set the rules and to actually um, make, I'm gonna say, bring order. Because if you don't, you will have bullies and bad people that'll come and just go and pillage and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
only thing is those people that have that control now are doing the pillaging and destroying.
Exactly. Exactly. Mr. Hicks, do you think people, man, human beings, are really that drunk for power?
Oh man, power is all, what it's all about. Once you achieve the status of making billions and trillions of dollars, these elite and that have it, that have their hands on the control of power. Once you gain so much money, it's like when they gain so much access to sex or
Mm-hmm.
anything. It's like it just cultivates a desire to have more. But it's you should watch those different sci-fi movies of not sci-fi, just history. Genghis Khan, of Napoleon. These people that set out to conquer the world, to be world rulers.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of think that kind of ambition died in ancient times, but it's thriving now. And there are people, a cabal, that's in control of everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
Rico was saying, economics and politics, and they're entwined by blood and
Mm-hmm.
by oaths,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they it's power. They want to rule. They want a system like China, where everybody has social critics, everybody's monitored all the time, and they have social a social platform to give people that follow the party line and the people that don't, they won't put them in camps now and kill them right at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, that's what all leads to, that kind of thinking. Of
Mm-hmm.
thinking that if you don't think like us, there's a real interesting thing when I researching the word heretic. Heretic, the basic meaning is people that think free, people that don't think in line with the Pope and their plans to take over. And you're a heretic if you free thinking, if you don't use the language, if you don't think, you don't say it the way it's accepted. That's what
Mm-hmm.
this whole whole thing with rechanging labels and called constructs and rechanging the very basics in an atmosphere that if you don't agree with it, you suffer. You suffer if you're trying to if you're in the business. You suffered if you don't toe the line, the
Mm-hmm.
party line.
Exactly. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to have your input. And that's a conversation, Rico, that a lot of people are very uncomfortable having, because there's a power structure here. That's certain, there's certain individual, and some people say it's the 1%, but there are certain families that have all the power and have to say so. They run the government and run a little bit of everything. And like I said, a lot of times people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to get into that conversation, but it's the truth.
It's hard for them to comprehend. Because when I was younger, I was trying to figure out who makes everybody follow the rules and who
Mm-hmm.
came up with the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw in different times, if the right people weren't around, somebody would take advantage of you and bully you. So it had to be somebody around to make sure that nobody bullied the other person. So I was like, man, who came up with that system, and then who made everybody believe or conform to it? I didn't know these words, but at the same time, I knew that, man, people had to agree. Then I started realizing police, and I started realizing military. I started figuring out how everything worked. But still, it was hard for me to comprehend that there were certain families. But I always felt like it had to be some mastermind
Yes.
somewhere
Yeah.
that wanted to rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, nah, that's impossible. Can't nobody want to do that. Ain't nobody gonna allow nobody to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And little by little, I started hearing about Rothschilds and Rockefellers
Yep.
and Prescott Bush and how they
Exactly.
played both sides of the wars and how they financed and bankers. I'm like, wait a minute, you mean, man, to tell me this man sent his sons to this part of the globe and that part of the globe to set up the financial market and play the financial game? I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Started hearing about aristocrats and blue bloods and all this stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. So
Mm-hmm.
now there are people that call themselves chosen, and they have designated people, and it's been going on for a long time. And they create these systems to make sure they can still keep control and have influence on the direction that the world goes in.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
even had influence in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So, you start looking at all this stuff. I mean, like, that's why, like when I hear what Ibrahim's saying, and I hear what Badger is saying, man, everybody got a little piece of understanding. Ibrahim got a lot of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of understanding. Badger does too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's intertwined so much in so many different aspects of our existence that it's hard for people to even want to sort it out because it'll drive you crazy. It's hard to fathom that somebody
Rico, do you think
some type of say so or intention behind everything that you do every day.
Hey Rico, do you think it is? Rico,
somebody trying to survive.
Rico, do you think it some people are just afraid to even know? They don't want to know that they're afraid of it, and they're afraid to even touch on it because they're afraid of what the results might be if they get too close to it, too close to the fire.
Wow, you know what? That's crazy you said that, man. Somebody just told me yesterday that since they met me, they sort of hate that they don't woke up to what the real world is like. Mm-hmm. They liked it better when they was blind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
It was more fun.
Yep. Yep.
They like being distracted. I said, yeah, that's what addiction does. You know what I'm saying? An addiction makes you think you still look good as a crackhead.
Mm-hmm.
Cigarettes make you feel like you still good. You know what I'm saying? And you hurting your body. I mean, that's what addiction does. They done taught us to consume and like all these things and material and superficial things, and we done got away. I mean, like if the elites actually had compassion and they had the will to want to sacrifice and really had the best benefit of life preservation in mind, then I would be along with that because we need those type of leaders. That's the whole purpose of leaders, is to try to direct us into a good place and have us in progress. You know what I'm saying? Something positive.
Mm-hmm.
That's what leaders are supposed to do. You ain't supposed to just want to consume and hoard and control and create poverty.
Yeah.
But we got people that love capitalism that don't understand capitalism can't work without poverty, without a loser, without a victim.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that means we embrace the victim because capitalism makes us sort of selfish to a certain extent because we need it to work. So if somebody got to lose, it's a dog-eat-dog world. That mindset we live in now, we embrace that. And that came from those people like the Rothschilds and on further back. They wanted to rule and control and have everything. They lacked compassion and didn't want to sacrifice. And some of these people call themselves Christians.
Mm-hmm. And see, the thing about it too, man, is a lot of times I still like looking at cartoons, man. I love cartoons for whatever reason. I love cartoons, and a lot of the superhero cartoons, the villain, the one they draw up as the bad guy, is always the one that want to have all the power and rule the world. I'm gonna get all this power, and I'm gonna rule it. I'm gonna control the world, is what they say, and they put them out there that way. But is there any truth in what these cartoons are really portraying, man? Mr. Hicks, what do you say to that, man? Are there people out there that really want to, like Rico was saying, the Rothschilds, all these people that really want to rule the world and drunk on power?
Yes, I think for me, in order for me to sort of understand what's happening, to understand it in a place that brought me a sort of peace of mind, where I get all the new information, because ignorance is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't, and I'm talking about where you ignorance, where you're ignoring things. I'm talking, where you're ignoring. You get all the hints, you see all the things, you hear the things, but you chose to ignore it, and it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Going down the rabbit hole puts you in a space where it's very hard to communicate to others, because you got this volume of information that's not yet knowledge, and it's not wisdom. So you're confused in how to adapt to what you see around you, what you see coming out of man, and his treatment of other human beings, and we're trapped in the scope of you're trapped in the thing of identity. You see yourself as and it's hard not to see yourself as a black man, with all that implies sort of just floating in the air, vibrational. And we define things that happen. I watched a film, Rico summoned that film about the system of when you got to go to court and pay money to your wife or for the kids' care.
Child support.
And in that child support.
Mm-hmm.
And in that video, it was showing the results of children who are adults and grown now. Then they had shots of other kids when they were little, and they were talking about the emotional damage.
Yeah.
That's inside of these children, because there's a desire from adopted kids and separated kids. There's always this hunger down of where did I come from?
Mm-hmm.
And the first step of finding out who you are is trying to find out who your parents are,
mm-hmm.
and who your relatives are, and what's been the dynamics and what are you predisposed to in your life because of what they call generational curse,
mm-hmm.
which is a psychological base where children adapt from the people around them, the closer people who are domesticated, and telling them what's right, what's wrong, and showing them more than telling them what's right or wrong. They're watching adults,
mm-hmm.
and they're confused in this world. For me, when I went into the realm of their spiritual, there's a spiritual battle going on that although it looks like you can find institutional, you can do it go vote for it and put people in office. You feel like you can do something in the human domain that make life better for yourself and the people around you. But the war and the battlefield is the mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
That's good.
And it's a hard battle to fight, because we don't recognize the influence of just the energies around us, just the things, we talk about abuse and children coming up through families and through the society. And it actually, a child seeing something, seeing a certain action, or seeing a certain thing, what dietetics talk about engrams,
mm-hmm.
that these things are traumatized the very soul. They talk about clearing, going through a process, go back and reveal all of these little small incidents that shaped us that we forgot.
Mm-hmm.
We just was blanked out of our mind, but it's still motivating a lot of our actions. But for me, it's prayer, it's meditating, it's really trying to hold yourself to a different vibration. I believe that our connection with Source is through vibration and
mm-hmm.
motion.
Yeah.
Emotion.
Exactly.
And it's to learn how to channel that, I guess.
Good deal. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Captain, we're talking right now about power and people getting drunk on power. Your people out there, that quote unquote your power family, Rothschilds, and all these different people like that. Are people the quote normal people? Are they blind and just don't want to see that the situation like this really does exist, and there's really people out there that want to have the absolute power over everything that you do? Are we blind in that, or are we just trying to ignore it? Or some people just trying to ignore it? What do you say to that?
Well, I'm okay. Kind of rephrase it so I can get a better understanding of what you said, dear brother. Kind of, break it down a little bit more.
Are there a lot of people out there that refuse to wake up and are just asleep to what's really going on in this world?
Okay. Well, we live in a society where there's a small percentage that rules.
Mm-hmm.
In the Nation of Islam, we broke down to the 85%, the 5%,
mm-hmm.
and the 10%.
Mm-hmm.
In the Nation lesson, it says that 85% of the people are ignorant.
Wow.
And they are blind, deaf, and dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe in a mystery God. While the 10%, who are the wickedly wise, the rich, who control and rule the 85%, and are the suckers of the poor.
Mm-hmm.
The 5% is the righteous, who's constantly trying to expose the 10% to the 85%,
mm-hmm.
that the 85% will begin to wake up, see the reality. So with those lessons that we study,
It's very clear that 85% of the people on the planet or even America are ignorant.
Mm.
It ain't that they're ignorant because they desire to be ignorant. They're ignorant because there is a serious conspiracy. Well, I use the word conspiracy, but there is a serious desire for those who are in the position. 10% of those who rule the 85% are the wickedly wise.
Mm-hmm.
Your DuPonts, your John
Yeah.
Paul Gettys, your
Mhm.
Rockefellers,
Yes.
and now you have your Bill Gates and my man over Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, you can't have rich people unless you have poor people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have poor people unless you have ignorant people.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, you got people who don't know. They don't know because there is lack of knowledge of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the institutions that we come out of. If you look at the beautiful way of the Jewish community, no Jewish community sends their children to non-Jewish schools.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do the Jewish community look like sending their children to a German school?
Mm.
It don't make sense, man. So you got us, the majority of black people in America, going to a public school.
Mm-hmm.
Do that public school teach us the value, the true history, and the knowledge of ourselves? Come on, right?
Mm-hmm. Come on. Talk about it.
That educational system look like telling us the true history of them saying, yes, we found you. We didn't find you. We lied. We didn't find you with bones in your nose. We
Mm-hmm.
lied. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't find you under the jungles of Africa butt naked. We lied.
Mm-hmm.
We find a very advanced, cultivated people who knew how to build, and your history is so old, we don't know what came first. Because there was nobody here to record your beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Who was here to record the beginning of black people? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So we brought you over here because we needed to build a new civilization, and you was builders. You dug the Nile River by hand. Yes, you built the pyramid, if we tell the truth, because when the pyramid was built, we was running around in Europe on all fours, eating the bark of trees. If the truth be told, who's going to teach you that in school? Was that kind of teaching of teaching African Americans or black people, will that elevate us out of the standard of the 85% ignorant, or will that elevate us to be able to strive and do something for ourselves? Yes, our people don't know better because they have never been taught better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a few of us escape. Yes. We get a few doctors, we get a few PhDs, we get a few scholars. You give us a few. Yes. But the truth of the matter, you will never be taught nothing of who you are and what you are from the very enemies that have captivated us or have put us on a course of oppression and slavery. They would never. Every now and then, some of them would tell the truth. But the reality of it is, Brother Raheem,
Mm-hmm.
we'll never advance as long as we continue to, as Malcolm said, put our stomach in the white man's kitchen.
Mm. Wow.
Do something for yourself. Get away from the vet. It ain't saying that the education is not good, but don't teach me the 3 R's, as they used to call it, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But you don't teach me nothing of myself. And we are people of mathematics. How could I get at the half-court line and shoot a three-pointer and it hit the rims, it hit the no net? This is all net.
Mm-hmm.
How can I run as a running back, hip over there, and make a hole when there wasn't no hole?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We are the best at what we do under the circumstances of what they have given, and that's the greatest fear. We got to stop all the time apologizing. Well, we had some black settlers in the slave. Yes, that is true. Those blacks that sold us into slavery, they was getting rid of their problem. That's like some Bloods had captured some Crips. And the Bloods went and waited till the slave trader come and said, look here, I got some Crips I want to sell to you. They was getting rid of their problem. It was smart. It wasn't smart on our part. Because if we asking reparation from America, hell, we got to ask reparation from Africa. Because they helped send us over here. Yeah, but our people don't know.
Exactly.
But they don't know because they're not taught. And any time we raise the conscience of the people, we got to tell them the truth.
Good deal. Good
Yes,
deal.
the truth. Get me started this month. I ain't had my medicine yet. I ain't had my medicine. All right, brother.
Good deal. Good deal. Mr. Hicks, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Oh man, brother, maybe flashback to those lessons that opened that was the beginning of me opening my eyes.
Yes, sir.
It
Yes,
was
sir.
The which led me to farther study. You know, because to critically think something, you have to evolve it, but you have to research it. And research is not fact checking. It's facts and different. It's sort of separate from the truth. There's no doubt about it. Looking at our situation as people, not just black people, as people in this country, this particular experiment, very, very tedious position in terms of new directions and incorporating new studies and new understandings about our situation, what need to be done. But like I said again, with me, it wrapped my head into making an emotional reaction to the information that had been filtered to knowledge and wisdom. And I think that the cycle that was broken in us as people is that we don't have our elders passing on the wisdom that they accumulated. That wasn't in Harvard or the big colleges. It's just the experience and the spiritual quality that's cultivated when you suffer. There's something about suffering as a nation of people. Now we're talking about black people. Our suffering, our prolonged abuse has cultivated a spiritual quality in us that you can see it manifest in the different culture changes in the music and in the arts that we inflict. But it's in a spiral because it's still based off this world. When you reading the stories about Jesus, Yahshua, Isha, all the different names, Christ, Christ consciousness, is that you'll know my people because they'll do my commandments. And the commandments are so simple and clear that it rounds out to one thing. And this is the essence, the core, is do unto others you have them do to you. That really covers a whole. When you think about that, how do you want people to deal with you when you're wrong? How do you want to deal with people when you're off base? And when you see somebody wrong and off base, use that psychology to say, because we've all been in error. We've all been in those places where we needed somebody who cared enough about us to tell us the truth about where we were going. They saw, the elders would see you. They'd come here, child. I remember walking down the dirty road coming from New Jersey down in this little small population and walking down the road and people say, come here, boy. Ain't you bad-eyed, son? They call my father bad-eyed. They look at him. You bad-eyed, son, ain't you? You say, yeah. And you be wondering, like, how do these people know you? How do they know your family? And they would sit down and tell you little things about your family and tell you things, little tidbits that you don't get from your family. But there is always hope. There's always a way out.
Yes, sir.
But the way out for your situation is always there. It's getting in touch with the source that guides you in the right direction. And that's what I call, because I think that's the only thing that's going to allow people to survive what's coming on the earth. is to get in touch with their source.
Mm-hmm.
The pineal gland. I think it was Navy one time in conversation. She's a scientist, and talking about the calcium that they've intentionally put in our foods and our waters.
I think there was a goddess.
Form a hardness on.
I think there was a goddess. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That make us not utilize this part of our DNA they call junk DNA.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost as if some kind of psychic, magical, or medical, or some kind of process went to disconnect these parts of the DNA that open us up to seeing more than we see through our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to not see with your eyes, but visualize the spiritual reality behind what you see happening in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see happening to yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
When you open yourself through your thinking to be possessed by an idea that some people call demon possession, but it is being possessed by thought.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Are people just like Captain said, 85% of people just don't know. I don't necessarily. I don't think I want to say ignorant, but just don't know.
Well, some are really ignorant, man. I mean, listen, sometimes I've been in certain neighborhoods, environments.
Good God, Rico. Good God, brother.
I understand that some people just don't know. You know, you was asking them, do they just not want to? Do they not know, or do they just not want to know?
Mm-hmm.
Some people clearly don't know. So it ain't like they intentionally, trying to avoid finding out or knowing, or it ain't like they know what the truth is, but they just ignoring it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some of them truly don't know. I get in circles with these people and I find myself educating them.
Yeah.
Because they truly didn't know, or they didn't even think. So that goes to show you that somebody didn't take no quality time with them to educate them. They just sent them to school and said, do your work.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to them folks.
Mm-hmm.
You better study. But they didn't sit down and teach them and give them some wisdom. So, I found myself even in bad places I shouldn't have been. I got locked up one time and I shouldn't have been. And during that time I was locked up, I was educating people, teaching them about peonage. I actually had to teach somebody how to read.
Wow.
Imagine if he don't know how to read, what he know about a Rothschild family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What he know about, so it ain't that these people, they caught up in the system and the conditions that these people created. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't have time to understand because you got too many more pressing issues in your face to deal with, like eating, getting your butt beat, dope fiend mamas.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the 1%ers don't know about homelessness. Certain areas and certain things they don't even know exist on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the children of the resource controllers. Don't understand. They don't. You ever seen that documentary called 1%?
Hadn't seen that one.
That's one of the I think it's one of the Johnson & Johnson boys. He used to make documentaries. And man, he had a wake-up call. He interviewed people that was in his circle. Ivanka Trump, whatever his Trump daughter name is, she was one of the people interviewed. And then he interviewed a cab driver and had that cab driver take him through a side of Miami that he had never seen. And he was like, man, this is just blocks away. I didn't really believe people slept on the streets. I never saw this. So just like they don't understand what's going on the bottom sometimes because the only thing they know is their environment and their rich, extravagant experience. Some of these children don't know nothing about no 1%ers because they too busy about worried about who could kill so-and-so, and now I need to be a blood because I was born into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gangster disciple, what I'm saying? It's like, people value system is different, and so that goes to show you that some people really don't know. I caught myself teaching people how to read, man. Breaking down the definition of peonage. You know what I'm saying? Actually trying to put them on some black empowerment type of stuff because I saw they lacked it. Even though we were all in there, it was 95% black inmates. And all of them now just acting erratic and out of order. And I'm like, man, we ain't supposed to be acting like this. So I ended up being something like a uniter. Listen, man, those guys had tears in their eyes when I left. So, I mean, it's like, I understand that, some people ain't intentionally just ignoring it. Some people really don't have a clue. they caught up and they've been bamboozled, they caught up and distracted in this man-made design, and they have to survive in it. And so some people are just trying to make it through with the crumbs that they got. And then you asked another question too. That about, are there people out here with just evil intent like those guys on the cartoon? And those cartoons when we were young, man, they used to show people like that in movies all the time like that.
Yeah.
But then I heard of this man named Hitler, and he wasn't no cartoon. That one I said, wow, somebody really will try to do it, and they did it. Then I heard about the transatlantic slave trade. That wasn't even one man. That was a group of people that felt like it was cool to do that. But then again, we spoke about the documentary series Hidden Colors. You would not believe how many people did not even know 1/25th of that information in them 3 and 4 hour DVDs. There's so much education in that for people, man. I mean, people actually just were like, wow, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. So no, they don't realize that they are the addicts. That's why I say everybody's an addict, and some people get offended. But we are all addicts to something that man has constructed, and we ain't ready to break away from it.
Wow, that's good. And see, this conversation, I had another topic I wanted to talk about today, man, but I think we got to stay here, man. It's so much tied into this thing. We got a couple of people on the phone line. Excuse me. I want to get to the phone line so I can talk to them as well. I think the next person on the phone line was who we got? We got Navy. Navy, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, y'all. I'm good. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good. Navy, we got a deep conversation we're talking about this morning. And this is the kind of conversation that I love, but a lot of time folks that's listening or that's tuning on that don't like us don't want us to talk about. And so we're gonna talk about it. That's what we do. But we're talking about people that don't know, or there's some people out there, because Captain said there's 85% of people that's just ignorant and don't know. He said there's 10% that knows, but is going to try to conceal it because it benefits them to know and not teach everybody else. But there's 5% that's really trying to educate everybody and let them know exactly what is going on and what the realities of it. I like to think we fit in that 5%. But do you think there's some people out there, do you think there's some people out there that's just ignorant to the fact of the realities of this world and have no clue?
Yeah, I think, but not necessarily. Now I understand what Rico was saying because I kind of came in on the middle of his response. So I think that it's not because of an unwillingness, but ignorance is bliss. And what I don't know, I can't be held accountable for it.
Okay.
If I can't be held accountable for it, then I don't need to know it. So therefore, if I make a mistake or if I do something, then I can always go with the cop out of, well, I didn't know. So, and I think that part of that comes from, I don't even know, like, I see what I'm trying to say, but I don't even know how to like construct this sentence.
See, and this is new. This is new.
Would it be what they value, Navy?
Like you're a product of your. It's a term that we learned in school called is PI, but it means person in environment. And basically, what they did was if I am in a environment to where all I know is guns, drugs, sex, poverty, then if that's all I'm around, very much like the documentary that Rico was talking about, and just in general what he was saying, if that's all I'm around, then that's all I know. But a few of us may make it out of that environment and spread and learn that there's another world beyond it. So I just think that it's hard because some people don't want. You do have a few that just don't want to know anything beyond those borders. They don't want to know beyond it because it's scary. I know how to survive in this environment because this is what I grew up in. This is what I know. But if I go outside of that and have to challenge everything that I learned here, then I may not succeed. And I think the fear of not being able to survive outside of the environment that you know is what keeps people ignorant.
Wow.
Or at least that's my thought process on it.
See, that's a lot. That's heavy right there, because it's almost like I'm hearing you say they just don't want to know. And, I like the song says, I don't know, I don't want to know what's out there beyond the skies. I don't want to know what's out there. I don't know what's outside of my circle. I'm happy. I'm content with it. I don't, it's not the best, but I'm content in this circle or in this rut that I'm in. And that's maybe that's kind of sad.
It is. It really is sad. And I mean, unfortunately, there are some people, and I'm pretty sure we've come in contact with some of those
Hmm.
people, or that the reality is so far fetched from what they know. Like hypothetically speaking, if we were to be having a conversations about aliens, we know that there are other life sources that are out there. But for some people, that is just so far fetched and so far removed from what they view their reality to be because of the limitations that they have set to where I can't believe that.
Hmm.
No. Do you know how long it took for some black people to know that there were actually black people already here in what we know now as America? Everybody, a lot of people, and sad to say, myself included, until somebody educated me and I started educating myself that our existence didn't just start from slavery. We had a whole civilization that we are responsible for teaching people.
Hmm.
Basically, everything that we know now came from us. Moors were. I don't know what people think Moors are. Their reality is just so far removed from the reality to where
Hmm.
they can't conceptualize it.
Wow, wow. We got a lot to cover today. We got a lot to cover today. We're gonna stay right here. But Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, do you too believe that there's some people out there that's just ignorant to the realities of the world and like the song, it's been alone. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die because I don't want to know what's out there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long time. And killing off the hardships that they, when I say die in this aspect, I'm talking about killing off the realities that they're living in so it can go into a better. Are there some people that just stuck and don't care about doing better?
I boy, I hate the question because it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have people that grew up, just say in my hometown. I know people right now that grew up in my hometown. They have never left the city of Charleston, South Carolina.
Wow.
They've
Wow.
never ventured. Come on. I mean,
Mm.
think about that. Just think about it. There's not, as far as you're concerned, there's nothing beyond those streets right there around you.
Mm.
So even though right, like a few blocks from us is one of the richest areas in the country, with the big mansions and stuff. There are people that really think that that's all it should just be them with
Mm-hmm.
all the money
Mm-hmm.
and then us with no money.
Wow.
And it's like Navy said, it really is sad because people don't know beyond where they are. And
Mm-hmm.
and we have to
Wow.
talk about it and,
Mm.
and, and try to get people to venture out. I had an uncle that died at 73, and I don't think he ever left. No, I don't think he ever left South Carolina, not one
Wow.
time in his entire life.
Mm.
Do you realize how many states there are? And,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it's very sad. But people can't venture beyond what they know because of fear sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of the unknown, just like, several people have said. They're afraid to know what's beyond where they are or to
Mm-hmm.
know that there's a better life. I
Yeah.
think, how we talk, and I'm sorry, I'm going a little long, but like when we talk about welfare mothers, right, that get stuck generation,
Yeah. Yeah.
until somebody breaks that curse and
Mm-hmm.
and and show, hey, you can go to school. You don't have to just,
Mm-hmm.
once you have a baby, stay in the hood and don't just collect welfare till the day you died, and your children be on welfare till the day.
Mm.
It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
yeah, it's our reality for some people.
Now, Captain, is a piece or a part of this by design? Are there some people that really want us to stay in that rut that we're in and not explore or become what we could become to our full potential?
You know, Brother Raheem, you know what is the most embarrassing thing in life
Mm-hmm.
is that you go through life as a grown person. You become 40, you become 50. And then when somebody asks you today certain things that you should know, and you're embarrassed because you don't know, you try to hide it and mask it
Mm-hmm.
by hostility. And then you sometimes try to hide it and mask it by religion.
Mm-hmm.
There was a TikTok yesterday I looked at where this brother asked this older black man, he had to be about 60. He said, "Are you a racist?" He said, "No." He said, "Name me 5 Asians." He said, "Mexico, Puerto Rico." He said, "No." He said, "Name me 5 Asians."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Palestine, France," and everybody's laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And the man, he just did not know that he was asked to name me 5 persons who are Asian.
Mm-hmm.
But they use this old brother to make mockery
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's some people who just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people who don't care to know. So if I came on this line and I said what I said, and now everybody who's listening say, well, it makes sense. But if you ain't never been to Africa, you can't substantiate what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
But among people of consciousness, when we ask, have you ever been there, people embarrassed in your old age? I've never stepped out of line unless I go to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to come at a certain age and you don't know. You be what someone tells you. That's the sad part. My sister says she's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're around, it's all day long.
Hey, Cap,
That becomes
you're breaking up just a little bit. You're breaking up just a little bit.
around ignorant people your whole life. She made a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Become your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an environment of who is trying to come out of a home of educators, you want to finish school because my grandmother, my mother, my brothers. So that's the goal. If you come out of a home of law enforcement, my daddy was a grandfather was a cop, so you become a part of it. If you come out of a home where everybody was in the military,
Mm-hmm.
my daddy was in the military, my mom was in it, so you become the product of your environment.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the 5 percenters that we talked about, the 5 percenters, man, that's what we are. That's what's on this program.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 percenters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're trying to take and expose the 10% who controls the 85%. I'm not giving no unrealistic math. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
85 to 50% of the people are ignorant. But if they don't desire for us to break what we call the generational curse, we have to build institutions. Because you know why, Ryan?
Why's that?
Most of our people believe in the lie that they was taught.
Mm-hmm.
There was people who really believed that Christopher Columbus discovered America. People really believe that.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that really believe that the best thing could have happened to black people was to be brought over here into slavery.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that really believe that. There's people that really believe. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, with the same, with if a person do not treat you right, will they teach you right? I'm gonna say it again.
Mm-hmm.
If someone do not treat you right, do you expect them to teach you right?
Mm-hmm.
Have we been treated rightly? No.
Mm-hmm.
So if you never treated us and we still fighting for justice, then all of a sudden you're gonna teach me right? It don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Wow.
can put our head in the sand And if you have become, and it ain't nothing wrong to say, I don't know. There's no sweat off your brow to say, you know what, brother, it's a shame. You're absolutely right. I don't know. But don't try to mask it by hiding behind religion. Well, the Bible says, the Lord said, blah, 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 blah. Don't you try to mask it in hostility. Say, there's that racist stuff. Talking about this, some black. Say you don't know, man. Be humble. And once you say you don't know, now you can learn. But show somebody who knows. That's all I got to say. I am a little long with it.
Hey, man, this is a topic today, man. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Toya with a T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. And how you doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Since we're talking about something today, we're talking about and it's been brought to the conversation that there's 85% of people, and I'm sure you probably heard 85% of people that don't know, that's totally ignorant to the realities of what's going on. There's 10% that knows, but they want to conceal it because of the fact that it benefits them to hold on to the truth. And there's 5% that actually want to go out there and teach the reality of what's going on and wake up everybody. Toya, do you really believe that there's 85% of people out there that's just ignorant to the realities of what's going on and the conditions that they're in? Because Cassandra also said that, you know, she know people that has never left the city, not the state of South Carolina, but the city of Charleston.
That's right.
Has never gone. And they've lived their whole life in their little circle. And so I know people in Greensboro. I'm from Greensboro that's never been out of Greensboro, or North Carolina has never been out of North Carolina, period.
That's right.
That's crazy
right.
to me.
Yeah, that's crazy to you because you're used to living your world. See, that's where we get it twisted, because when you wake up every day, you live your world. And wherever your world is what you know. That's all you know. And if you don't desire to see anything more or anything outside of that, then you're just going to be in that world. You know, my father taught me to look outside of Brooklyn. He taught me that there were places outside of it. So he, you know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't go there, he knew that those places existed. And he always tried to encourage or tell or inform. And even if he didn't know, made sure when I went to school, I paid attention, because he was like, yo, there were things that I didn't know. I haven't went past 9th grade and the world is so big. I want you to know it. So therefore, as a child, that's how I got the key to know that the world is different outside of the projects of Brooklyn. 85% of people, yes, but this is my issue. It's compared, when I look at the United States and how they do, it's like how parents do their kids. How you lie to your kids like it ain't real out here on them streets, and you shelter them. And then when you get out there, it's the whole world that don't go like what your parents told you. And it's like, that's how America did to people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, not worth this. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, the law says this, that, and the third. But all of those were lies, just like we lie to our kids about Santa Claus. So now, if 85% of them people had been told fairy tales coming up, how you expect them to believe the truth? How do you expect them to believe the truth? If the 85% of if they're people who, you know, hey, we celebrate Christmas, we do Easter bunnies, we do its culture, then of course it's going to be hard for them to live in reality, because they already been living their life in a fairy tale. You understand what I'm saying? So I get it, and I definitely understand it. When I look at how Congress, just look at how many people we have in Congress. Let's look at how many people we have. We only have, I'm not sure the number, 11,000 or 19,000 law enforcement institutions in America, but we got 370 plus million people. So, you know, again, that's a number right there that shows you that what you're saying is more than likely true. 10% versus 85%, right? You look at the percentages of the police department just in your area, and how many people live in just your county. So I'll use my county let's use Henry County, for example. Henry County have more law enforcement per capita, and they got 267,000 people. So yes, absolutely. Those numbers and how we live on a daily basis, it shows it all the time. One teacher, 30 kids. You know what I'm saying? One manager, 200 employees. You know what I'm saying? So this school to prison pipeline, again, is another tool that trains us to be in a specific place with one person in charge, be in a specific area with 2 or more people in charge. And it still, it still leads truth to what you just said, 10% from 85. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely it's true. And absolutely we see it every day. And if we pay very close attention in everything we do, that system is there to not only remind us, but to keep us bound to it.
Wow. Man, it's a lot. I'm loving the conversation. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Got a few people just came on with us as well. Badger, good morning, Badger. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badger, are there 85% or 80? Let's stick with that number. Are there 85% of people out there that's ignorant to the realities of life and just don't know? And what excuses do they have for not knowing?
I don't think there's well, which age group you talking about?
Not just in particular, brother. We ain't trying to break none down. Are the 85% of people that just don't know, that's just ignorant?
I guess you could say that. So we're not going to break that part down. Okay. I'm having to change the direction I was going to go. So like what I understand and grasp the concept of what Toya was saying. Everywhere you look, a lot of times it's one person over a whole bunch of people. They love that boss mentality. However, people have become so selfish that they forget that they can group up with all them people that boss is over. And that they don't want that boss to be there anymore. That boss doesn't have to be there anymore. I think a lot of the ignorance is, to be quite honest, caused by greed. They're selfish, self-centered.
Okay, good deal. Let me go to who we got here now. Joseph, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, good people. Good to hear y'all voices this morning. Everybody sounding good.
Hey, likewise, brother. Likewise. Talk to me about this, man. Do you think it's a reality, man, that there's 85% of people that's totally ignorant, that don't want to get out of the rut that they're in? 10% of the people that knows the truth, but they're concealing it because it's of a benefit to them financially or whatever. And there's 5% of the people out there that really want to push the truth and let the 85% know. Well, what is your take on that?
Yes, sir. I was always intrigued because of the way Dr. King quoted Plato so much. I was always wondering why he quoted Plato so much. So I delved into Plato's thinking. Plato said that society is made up of the meditative people, the ones who think on law, poetry, etc., religion, and the spirited people, the ones who want to be known for their prowess, their military prowess, their athletic abilities and artistical gifts. And then he said the masses of people are the appetitive people. The only thing they care about is their appetite. And so they're only concerned about satisfying their daily appetite. Now, he said society is constructed that way, and the government should be constructed that way. That's why we got 3 branches of government. So I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. The question we have to ask, I guess, is which one are we? Which category do we fall in? And now he said that the tripart soul of a human being is made up of those 3 parts. And I guess it's the part that you allow to dominate you, which will determine which category you'll fall in. So if you're a person that meditates on poetry and religion and, laws and things like that, then you're a meditative person. If you like doing athletic things, sports and things like that, then if you allow that part to dominate you, then you fall in that category. And the rest of us, I guess, would be the ones who just want to
Hello? Did we lose you, brother? I think we might have lost him. Something's going on with his line there. I think we might have lost him there for a second. Rico, talk to me, brother.
What the other folks care about. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
But that's my reflection on it.
Oh, okay. We lost. We lost. Yeah, we lost you for a minute there, brother. The last part of what you said, it just totally went totally blank on us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we lost with the last part.
Yeah, right at the end when you said that on last part about the meditative part. Okay, I said the meditative part is the people who thinks on religion, law, and poetry, things like that. That's the meditative people. They are critical. They are critical thinking in that regard. But the spirited people, of course, are the athletic people who love sport, and military people who want to be known for their courage and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So society is ordered that way according to the way Plato, pretty much dished it out. And the founding fathers studied Plato, and past generations studied that. But that's the way much Western society is set up. So yeah, you're right. The majority, which is the appetite of people, they only care about satisfying their appetite, eat, drink, and be merry,
Mm-hmm.
party
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
That's their concern. They don't care nothing about no politics and religion, and they go to see concerts and stuff, but they don't care about how the musician and the artist got in there and crafted up the sayings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. The question is, we have to ask is, which one are we? Which category do we fall in? What part of ourselves do we allow to dominate?
Mm-hmm.
The meditative, the spirited, or the appetite?
Wow, that's good.
That's a question we have to ask ourselves.
And Rico, if you had to address that question, how would you address it?
Well, first I would have to try to find out how to equate those three. So I would equate those three to the mental, the physical, and the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I had to go and try to equate those numbers, I would equate the 85% to consumers' appetite.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. And for you to want to consume, you have to desire things. And the things that you desire are the things that you value. And most of the times, the things that you desire and value are the things that make you feel good. So now you're looking for reward. And that's what human beings all like. In all of those groups, they still want reward.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of what reward do you want? What desires do you have? What do you value? And see, when you start realizing how that breaks down, then you can start sort of waking up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like we said, maybe she knocked it out the park, man. Products of your environment.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard so many people say, I don't know any doctors. I don't know any CEOs.
Yeah.
I don't know any bank presidents.
Mm-hmm.
But in that environment that they live in, they're going to find somebody that finds some type of success or reward or comfort in that arena that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's their outlet or their way of seeing that they can achieve that, that's the only exposure they have to that type of success or what success is, then that's what they think success is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it's going to be hard to wake them up from there. So, you
is that a warped sense of reality?
They have is not really an excuse. Mm-hmm. In most cases, it might just be a reason.
Rico, is that
condition.
In what you just said? What you just said a second ago, is that a warped sense of reality, or is it just their reality?
That's the conditions that they were brought up in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the conditions that were created through this system that we live in. Like I said, once you realize those conditions were created, then you can understand why some people don't know what success really is.
Mm-hmm.
You can understand why some people don't know better than to want to be a gang banger.
Mm-hmm.
Or why some people only want to get their respect or build their reputation up from how many people they could be.
Mm-hmm.
You have people that have what you call quality values,
mm-hmm.
low standards. You know what I'm saying? It's still a reward in some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just breaking it down to the basic, the basic understanding of how humans even move. We all still have one desire, and that's a reward. Mm-hmm. That reward might be comfort, whatever that reward is. But are we willing to be perspective enough, spiritual enough, to know that, okay, we need to share with other people because of how they feel.
That's
That we
good.
need to reach out to these people that don't know any better.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, listen, this sort of goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. We talked about productive environment.
Mhm.
Now, once you leave that environment, you got choices to make. And when our kids leave from our environment, they got choices to make.
Mhm.
But they might not make the right choices if the environment contradicted. You know what I'm saying? Or was actually the environment was negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I might tell my children to do something totally different.
Mhm.
But if they see me selling crack and selling heroin and being able to provide the finer things in life and contributing to criminal behavior, and I tell them, you go to school, you be better. But they see I got fans rapping about it, man, they might desire that same thing because that's a little quicker than going to school, and it ain't as exciting or fun.
Mhm. Wow.
So, I mean, sometimes our children are the products of their environment.
That's
And
good.
we have to be responsible for the environment that we created,
Good deal.
the
Good deal.
values that they have, and the desires of who they want to be.
Mhm.
Because sometimes children want to be pro football players, just like their daddy. Or they
Mhm.
want to be boxers, just like Mayweather want to be a boxer, just like his daddy. Or
Mhm.
maybe they want to be a gangster because it's profitable. And some people that like these people that made that money can't get away from the fact that it was successful
Mhm.
and it was a reward in it. So they think that you condemning these people when really and truly they got to be held accountable for the environment that they produce and had their children in.
Good deal. Stay right there, Rico. We got to keep this thing moving. Let me go back to Navy. Navy, what's on your heart?
Just a little bit, because as everybody was talking, it kind of reminded it this thing. I don't know, Miss Cassandra probably knows it too, or maybe a few of y'all do, some of y'all do too. But there was a Russian psychologist called Ivan. His name was Ivan Pavlov, and he was best known for classical conditioning, i.e., to some degree, psychological programming. But he used dogs to prove this, right? How when we have a stimulus, we want a reward, we have a stimulus, and there is a stimulant that automatically goes off in our brain. And what he did was that he took these dogs and he would feed them. But when he would feed them, he would ring a bell. So he did this to condition them for for a period of time. And what he would do is they knew this time, whenever I hear this bell, it's time to eat. Well, what he did after a period of time was not present food to the dog, but they still salivated. And as everybody was talking, I kind of thought about that theory, because to some degree, whenever we were talking about that 85% that just doesn't know, they've been conditioned to do so. And to some degree, maybe even we all have, because we all want some type of reward. There's a bell that stimulates us to want to go for that reward. But I mean, like, I don't know, like, I can't make it make sense the way that I need to, but that's just like, that's what came to my head whenever everybody was talking. Like, we've been classical conditioned. We've been conditioned to some degree. We've been psychologically programmed to some degree.
And this is new. This is new to me, Rico, because Navy, she's the one that articulates. She come in and knock it out the park, and have her stumble like this, man. This is a topic today, brother. This is a topic.
I just appreciate that she able to put it in a better words than I am, because I swear I be wanting to say the same thing. She just come and knock it out real quick. You can't really get 30 years of wisdom in 3 minutes. That's something else I learned too. So we got to think about that on here sometime when we giving our comment, man. We got to make sure we don't go too deep in that little bit of time, because we'll lose people.
Yeah, exactly. Let me go to Paul. Paul, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm really glad that I forget his name, the man who called about and talked about Plato and Martin Luther King. I've heard of that theory before, and I just looked it up right now. And the way Plato laid it out is the rational person, the spirited person, and the appetitive person. And then I found something that goes a little deeper into it, where it talks about the vice. Each of these types has a vice, something that will bring you down, something that is your kind of your weakest point. And for the, I think all of us here, we're interested in ideas and we're spiritual. You know, we're a little different than your average person, but the vice for the rational person or the spiritual person is pride. And so I relate that to, you know, Plato said that the philosophers should be in charge of the government making all the decisions. The problem is, you know, who are these philosophers and what is their philosophy? So are they preaching, you know, love and, you know, all of these virtues that we agree are really what God is about, or are they teaching some other supremacist thing? So that's kind of like my connection to it. And then I just had a comment for what Captain Dennis said earlier about teachers, about the let's see, I wrote it down. People who don't treat you right, they won't teach you right. I agree with that very much so, and I think that we need to challenge whoever, you know, if people are promoting bad ideas about and you know, or aren't willing to look at history and things like that, they definitely need to be criticized. But I just see some examples where people assume bad intentions. I'm not saying anyone here, but you know, they'll say like, "Oh, you're assumed white supremacist" or something like that. I think that's really harmful when people are just assume that because somebody's their skin color that they have a bad intention. Because I've heard that, not on the show, but I have heard that.
Okay, I was going to say that we don't. I was going to say that, you know, we don't. I haven't heard that here. But I'm glad you clarified and said not on this particular platform here, because that's not what we do. We haven't done that. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Boy, this is really some good stuff, and I love when Navy brought up the dogs, because that to see it, I've actually seen videos of people using that method on even rats and stuff, and we can be conditioned, and I think that's something that Rico talks about a lot. Us being so conditioned by society, because if we are really real with ourselves, everybody, well, not everybody, most people on here are trying to achieve a certain financial placing, or you know what I'm saying? We can say we're not, but we're trying to get that dollar. We want to go. Why do we feel like that's so important? Because we've been conditioned. You understand what I'm saying? We've been conditioned to believe that if you got money, then you're successful. I've never believed that, and I just don't. I believe that success is when you're doing, for me, a success is when I'm doing what God has told me to do. Within that comes its reward. But if I never become a multimillionaire, it's okay, because I want my life to have purpose. That is what I think a lot of people are missing. They're focusing on trying to get to the wrong things and not really enjoying the journey of life and fulfilling their purpose. I mean, I hope that's still staying within what we're talking about. But I think that, we're conditioned to go for the gold. You understand? No matter what, just stay focused on going for the gold. It doesn't matter, nobody else, nothing else. Just go for the gold. I don't believe in that.
Absolutely. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Toya, you want to talk to me, sis?
Yeah, I don't know what I missed. We're on the same topic?
Yes. Oh, we ain't going to on this one. We're going to stay to 10 o'clock on this one.
All right. So, that last comment, I just caught the last part, right? Some people, we was talking about Tyler Perry and how he changed on yesterday. And at first, his goal, you would take it differently, that his goal was he had to say Jesus on TV. And if he couldn't say Jesus, he wasn't going to go on that platform. He was doing it with a point to show the truth in Black communities and not really go along with what society was putting out as the representation of the Black man and Black woman. You know what I'm saying? But as he's been in the game over some time, it looks like things have changed. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that Tyler Perry himself has changed or his feelings, but I just think that his work and he is not the same person he was before he got those millions. So I don't think that oftentimes when we go to be successful, I don't think we go to think about it like in an extent to where we're going outside of the realm of being the best provider of food, you know, the best houses, the best clothes, to being able to do what we want to do when we want to do. And when you in that world, we talking about worlds again. Remember, when you in your own world, you don't know nothing about nobody else's world. So now here you in the world with money with others, and you've been there an extensive time. Now your habits and culture is changing like people who got money. So I don't think that we also, you know, all lead with the intent to get lost in that. We have a good intent. When we young and we say we're going to do something, we dream because we want to do it for the passion.
Yeah.
But when you've done it for 10 years, you tend to forget about the community you said you was going to serve as senator. You kind of forget about the fans that you wanted before when you was the rookie rapper. Now you don't want to be bothered. You kind of forget about putting the precedent or setting the precedent out there one way. But now the very person you said that you did not want to be is who you are. And I believe that comes from a lack of God. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference on what God showed me and the person I am with in the world with him and in the world without him. You can be your same place, your same person, and have the same ideas and have the same flaws and mess ups like any other human. But when you got God, it's just like this anchor that kind of keeps you close at bay, that kind of gives you a soft, subtle reminder, like an insurance that's right there to keep you covered in the event you should happen to go astray. And those are the only two differences. You know what I'm saying? In my personal opinion, you know what I'm saying? So when we talk about, you know, life and, you know, the changes that we go through and how we forget when it comes to the finances, I think we got to forget that we enter that world with one way and one intention. And just like a lot of us in our regular lives, we might have wanted to be things 20 years ago and life got us in a whole situation, and you cannot be, you know, that police you wanted to be when you was 9, just because, you know what I'm saying, life took you that way. And it's the same way when you make money, you know what I'm saying? So we got to really be, you know, just mindful on life and the ways and the curves it brings when we talk about other people's worlds and where they come from, you know what I'm saying, and why they haven't ventured out or stayed in a boat per se.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Got to be mindful. Always be mindful and conscious of what a person are, who they are. Like Toussaint always say, meet them where they are. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, good morning, young man. Again, good morning, young man. What's on your heart right now?
Wow. Listen, it's like being in classroom and the teacher's going to ask a question. You're ducking down in your class on your desk because you said, "Don't call me, don't call me." I'm ducking down in the classroom.
But brother,
I have a whole lot of thoughts, but I can't formulate right now. So I'm just going to continue to listen. But I knew it. Don't call. I said, "Don't call me, Raheem. Don't call."
But
you pass it on to someone else. I'm gonna listen.
Exactly. But my thing is this right here, man. I know that you're very equipped. Now I know that you're very equipped to talk about what it is. I circle back around to you, let you collect your thoughts. But I know you're very equipped. Badger, you had something on your heart.
So, if I heard what I heard a moment ago, talking about money to provide, was that right?
Yeah.
We have to have it.
I mean, I tell you what, if you don't have it, you know, you're gonna hit that light switch and something ain't nothing gonna happen.
Oh, so all that has to do with money and not the fact that people didn't want us to have the technology that would actually provide us all that stuff.
I think the point that was making is you have in certain things in life, certain elements of life, you have to have money for in order to do it. You have to have money to get some food. You have to have money to make sure the lights are on, and you have to have money to certain things in life. You got to have money for. We're not saying we're trying to become prisoners of money, but at the same time, it is needed for some things.
Oh, most people in this society are prisoners of money.
Some are,
or at least that 85% is. They're more focused on that or the other stuff. I swear, I think most of them would sell their own child for money if they could.
Okay. Okay.
I guess I'm very old. The old school trade and barter system here, because value is dependent on the individual. And to me, family and not harming the planet we were given is more important than a piece of paper that's an IOU.
Okay. Okay. Well, everybody got their own thought. Like I say all the time, brother, I'm not here to give anybody their opinion. They have their own. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother.
I just about, so I'm not familiar,
Okay.
what y'all discussing.
Okay. Well, we're talking
I'm
about.
gonna pay it.
Okay. I'll circle back around. I'll circle back around to you. Captain, talk to me.
Well, I think all of us, I guess every one of us who went to school, we all had heard about Maslow's law of hierarchy of needs, right? We all know about Maslow. If you have been involved in any kind of organization or trying to get to the root of human nature, you can't talk about this and not bring up Maslow's law. Now, whether we accept his theory or whether we accept it, but look what Maslow says in the hierarchy of needs. He said there are psychological needs, all right? Safety needs, love and belonging needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. Now, why is that important? Because when you look at the 85%, he's putting the 85% basically in that pyramid. Everybody has these needs. They're very important to the least educated of the people. We ain't talking about this 85% in America, but 85% of the people on the planet is ignorant. 85% of the people. So you can put it to America and you can put it to the world. Only 5% of the people who's really trying to live right, 5% of the people are practicing. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said for two dangerous people: the man who is the messenger of God and the rich man that gives his wealth to the poor. I'm going to say it again. The messenger of God and a rich man who gives his wealth to the poor. Why are both of them dangerous? Because you can't control a messenger of God. And he's dangerous because the messenger of God is going to depart the wisdom and knowledge of God to the poor. That's what Jesus did. He stayed among the poor. He was a threat to the 10%. And so therefore he was the 5%. And now, what about the rich man who gives his wealth to the poor? When a rich man gives his wealth to the poor, he's putting the poor in the position of power by giving them the necessary wealth that they need to come out of their physical or economic condition. Now, does it help? Regardless of, everybody gets upset with a man who gives his wealth to the poor. His attitude is trying to lift the votes from the bottom. But when we look at Maslow's law, and everybody don't even know about Maslow's law, well, 85%, they represent that. That's the pyramid that we look at. And so we want to talk about how to be able, 10%, they 10% control 85% of the wealth. Man, something's wrong with that picture.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
you can't have a 10% unless you got an 85%. Because it's the 10% that is the blood suckers of the 85%. So you have an invested interest. So you keep coming up with a new iPhone. I heard that people on the news, they got a new iPhone coming out. And the person says, majority of the people, 85%, over 1 billion people that has the iPhone, they don't need no changes. They don't know how to use all of the updates that they got on the iPhone. But there are those, the 10% who want to always be ahead of the 85%. So they got to get that brand new iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the other one ain't working, but it appeals to, as I heard somebody, the greed.
Mm-hmm.
So when we take a look at the condition of the world, how many of the 5%, which is on this line, how many of us who say we believe in, how many of us willing to suffer, ridicule, hatred, dislike, jealousy, and envy, to be able to go after the 85%? So when you begin to start speaking to the evil, you become an enemy. You become an enemy to the 10%.
Yeah.
He's waking up. They see Malcolm that way.
Mm-hmm.
They see Martin that way. They waking up to 85%. Man, if they wake up to 85%, then people who have been controlled by our economic influence are now talking about separation. They're talking about controlling their own dollar. Oh my God, that's the end of my economic world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Exactly.
And some of us is part of that 85% and think we part of the 5%.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have. Maslow's law. You all know about Maslow's law.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a recognized law, period, but it is a hierarchy of needs.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. The phone number to call in, be a part of this conversation. We'd love to have you. 508-924-3521. Let me go back to Joseph. Joseph, what's on your heart? Rico, coming to you next.
Wow, man, I'm full now. That sister brought in the Pablo's dog, and then our brother just brought in Maslow. All of that is relevant too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the projects, I remember growing up there in San Antonio, East Terrace projects.
Mm-hmm.
We were flanked by universities, Catholic institutions, schools, and whatnot. But few of us made it out of those projects. I used to see some sisters taking nursing classes. I see some brothers taking re-job training classes and stuff. I was in there trying to get some job training to better myself. Then there were those who, just succumbed to heroin and, drug and, gang activities sort of. But when you're conditioned, as the sister was talking about Pablo's dog, when you've been conditioned and suppressed and beaten down so long, even when the petition comes down where you can get over into a better area, you don't do it because you've been beaten down. So I look at the citizens in Jackson, Mississippi right now who've been suffering from a water condition for years.
Yes, yes.
82% black city. Show me in America where there's a majority white city suffering from water problems with lead in their water and stuff like that. I don't know the total population of the black population of Flint, but I'm sure it's very high. But what I'm saying, when you've been conditioned, you don't challenge the system the way you need to. Because you got that many people, you can put some pressure on some folks. See? And that's what the civil rights people did in the 60s. Dr. King put it this way. He said, whenever a man straightens his back up, he's going somewhere because the man can't wrap his bed. When you come out of that condition, when you straighten up and begin to fight back, then your opponent got a problem because your opponent can't handle that energy. And then when you wake up and really see what's going on, as that conditioning, Pablo's conditioning situation suggests, then you can make changes for your life that will improve conditions for you and those, your family. But anyway, good conversation this morning. I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Absolutely. Likewise. And to answer your question, brother, the internet says that Flint is on 54% black, 54%.
I knew it was a very high number.
Yeah. The internet says, that could be off a little bit because sometimes, we don't do the census like we're supposed to, but it's saying 54%. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Right. Man, another word for being conditioned is being under a spell. But some people, they get a little They get thrown off a little bit when you start talking about spells and witchcraft, but it all plays a part together. So that's why I say when you said that earlier, what kind of excuse can they use? Sometimes you can't, it ain't an excuse, it's a reason. They under a spell. They've been conditioned. We've been conditioned. I love what Captain D said. Some of us that think we 5%, 85%, because there's still a few things in that 85% that we don't want to let go.
Wow.
And that makes us inconsistent.
Exactly.
So it's hard. It's really hard to wake up from that, you know. And so Cassandra said something key. We depend on this money, and the key word in that is dependent. See, you will be a part of that 85% once they make you dependent. Not only in the dog studies, but the rat studies. Man, they don't have plenty of studies on different species to show once you control, manipulate, and issue resources, you can dictate the behavior of that community. That means you have created and dictated the conditions. So people that control resources and have power, that's what they did. So now we say, well, you know, do we really need money to survive? Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why. It ain't just about the 85% that love to consume and love to spend money just finding peace and reward and having fun, you know. But it's also about those people that need cancer treatment, health care that they can't afford because gas, you know, because they found a reason to come up with this thing called inflation. See, we bought into this money system, so now they don't manipulate us with it. Now we are dependent on certain health care. We're dependent. Look, if you want to be a farmer, you might not get no seeds to start another crop. They even control that now. So once you get dependent on people that control resources and how you get rewards, and then they can control whether or not you are exposed to it or they can train you. Okay, let's go back a little bit. I seen in communities where they had all black schools, they end in training schools. I grew up across the street from a school that my dad graduated from. It was called Calhoun County Training School. And it was a great institution of education. But they only trained, keyword again, those people that went to that school to do certain things in society. Same thing with Talladega College. Talladega College was actually built to train people to work in the industry, not to produce the industry or to create the industry, but how to make the industry of the system work. And they condition them. They call it education. So, you know, these conditions that have been created, man, yeah, you know, we are in a situation now where we are dependent on medicine, on hospitals. We are dependent on government assistance for different things, you know, and our survival depends on it. So, yeah, we do need money to survive. You know, we might not need money to buy the things we want, but it's a lot of things we need that if you ain't got money, somebody gonna die.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gonna keep this thing going. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Want to thank everybody that's joined us. We got a whole lot of people watching this broadcast today, so I guess a lot of people are actually sharing it. I definitely appreciate you all sharing it. Continue to share it. We got a little less than an hour. We got 50 more minutes before we get out of here. So continue to share the broadcast. Continue to share the broadcast. I think people need to hear what we're talking about today. Right now, let me go to Willa. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Morning Glow. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sis. We're talking about 85% of people ignorant, and I don't know if lack of a better term, I'm just gonna say ignorant. There's a 10% of the people that knows what the truth is, but they're concealing it for their own benefit, for whatever that benefit is. And there's 5% of people that actually want to educate the 85% to wake them up and get them in a place where they could really go out there and better themselves. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with there's 85% of people out here that's living in this world that we're living in that's just totally ignorant to the realities of what's going on?
Well, Raheem, I don't know where the poll was taken. You know, when you see these polls, you know, I don't know where they were taken. But I do know in my environment, around the areas that I'm in, that people, I'm going to give more of a higher percent that people want to better themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Raheem, sometimes we want more for someone else than they do themselves. You know, knowledge is the key, and finances definitely is the key.
Mm-hmm.
But it's where you place it in life. I mean, Rico always nail it. And Toya, I mean, she helped in the right perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because without God, we can't do anything. I don't care, even without finances. And he even gave examples in the Bible where this lady, all she had was $2, and she gave what she had.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when you're in a certain environment and you want to, because we as people, we always wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
We wear masks, but eventually that mask is coming off.
Yes.
Because when you get more and more money and be in a different condition, like someone was talking about Tyler Perry earlier, and they were talking about, I love Tyler Perry and I love the messages that he put out, but then he started changing.
Mm-hmm.
I started seeing things like business, the family business, and he was getting more towards the gangster style. And I started to see his message change. So he allowed money to change him.
Mm-hmm.
See, we can change money, or we allow money to change us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we may think we're one way, but the truth comes out with your condition. You know, that's what I want to say, Raheem, because we may believe one thing about ourselves, but when you have a lot of money, it'll show people who you really are.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Ibrahim, anything on your heart, brother?
Yeah, this goes back, you know, I've had conversations over the years, and I hear a lot of misinformation or misunderstanding that people grab things. I heard preaching, heard testimony, but I didn't hear any information that's going to help anybody. And I say this, right, because I could go with I could discuss Pavlov, and I could take Cartesian economic theory, which I heard that people don't understand what it is, right? But let me go a little further. See, number one, we have basic carnal needs. Those are needs that were ingrained upon us. Those needs were given at birth, of God-given needs. Now, how we approach them to satisfy these needs are different things based on culture, social status, and based on the culture that you come up in. You know, you never heard a billionaire talking about I got enough or I got this, or I did this. You know, billionaires look at it, you know, you look at money on a certain level, you look at paper. It all is paper. There's no such thing as currency. I mean, you know, financial currency of gold, diamonds. It's nothing. It's intrinsic value. It means nothing to nobody unless it has something attached to it. Now, if you want to use currency or money, but you can't use it both a resource. You can't use the word power and money in the same sentence unless you put power first. You know what I mean? To a collection, a group of people of ideology, a group of people that think of frame the same way, are willing to accept these things as their currency or as their accomplishing their needs. Now, want is another thing. We have needs, but our wants is superficial, and I won't supersede our needs. You have people out there begging for what they need and spending on what they want, you know, and that's why we have the system we have. The system is based on wants. Our economic system in America is based on what you purchase and what you buy. You know, it's not based on savings like other economies are and stuff like that, right? So if I try to invoke Pavlovian theory, it's behavior modification. He talked about positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement, and how you can go to a certain extent where a person will die trying to achieve something that he or she thinks he wants or needs by going through a certain method of mode to achieve these things, right? And I hear things all the time, especially in the Black community, and we talk about things and we minimize things like training. I heard about talk about training. Those are one of the things that we don't have now. Why we don't have people able to make a decent income or a living, or to build, or to capture things, or to put things together. You know, this is more important than education for somebody programming a computer. And people would doubt me about it. Farming. You know, how many people have farming trades now? You know what I mean? To even understand what a seed is or how to grow something. You know, we do things piecemeal. We do things in a fashion that that feels good or make you think we're doing something.
Let me ask you
And we're
this
actually
because
doing nothing.
let me ask you this, Ibrahim, because actually your
Right.
3 minutes is up right now, but I'm gonna give you another minute just to answer this question. What
Right.
what in your heart of hearts, in your mind, as you are, what is what is the solution?
The solution is
Solution.
actually taking care of your needs, working for yourself, doing it for yourself. You know, as a group of people, you know, we're put in a situation now that we have to go back to old school. We have to learn how to feed ourselves. We learn how to grow our own food, build our own buildings, create our own institutions.
Okay.
These are basic, simple things that we're knowing, but we want to take the high road
But
and to assimilate and to pay homage to these gods of wealth and all these other things, rather than do what we're supposed to do.
okay.
Take care of business on us, do for ourselves.
Okay, stay right there. But I will say this: that has been addressed, though. Maybe you came in a little late. Maybe you missed that part of the conversation, but we did talk about that part of it as well. Let me go back to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I'm just listening right now.
Cassandra.
I'm just listening.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Toya with a T. Talk to me, sis.
Yeah, one thing about, in my personal opinion, in life is that not everybody goes by facts and figures. The percentage of people who we need to reach that makes a part of that 85% are easily to be led. So sometimes when we say meet people where we are, having a collective of different opinions matters in a movement. And in order to get people to understand what we are saying, they have to be able to identify and empathize with what we're saying. And not all of it is facts. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes, when we say certain things on the show, like, we're not coming up with any solutions. I think that the very comments of us discussing this is something that are helping people to open people's eyes, to help the people who, you're not average people, to be able to listen. And sometimes when we come with facts and figures, it doesn't always attract people. You know what I'm saying? I think that when we use, that's not coming up with anything. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a position of power, as if maybe we, just trying to downplay, other people's thoughts, not actually challenging to help them see, but it's this kind of, downplaying people's thoughts. And again, I just think that we should be mindful. You know what I'm saying? When we have conversations with each other and we have our own different opinions on trying to kind of knock somebody's opinions, because I think we got the tendency to do that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And I just think we really have to be mindful of that. I just wanted to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? It's because I feel like sometimes some people might not want to say something because nobody wants to have or walk away feeling like, their opinion didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And some people might not have a highly intelligent opinion in your opinion, but it doesn't mean that it didn't have value to it. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
I just think we got to be mindful of each other when we speak our opinions on knocking everybody else's opinion because it's not like yours. And I just wanted to throw that out there.
Good deal. Mr. Hicks, you have anything on your heart right now?
Yes, sir. That sister right there spoke my heart. It talks about creating an atmosphere where you're able to speak freely. I believe that nobody knows everything. The more I learn about anything, the more I find out I don't know. I think that the whole idea of communication and coming together is that everybody knows something. Everybody is good at something. And when all the little pieces come together and there's acceptance of the difference that we have and the difference of perception, and it's accepted and not so much trying to get it in line to what you think it should be. But what that person is expressing is coming from the creator that's deposited in him, and maybe what you need to know. It's sometimes I was thinking about when I was little, come down south, and I would see these people, country people that didn't speak good language, and they seemed to be so ignorant in so many kind of ways, and they had so much knowledge about that particular thing that they were good at, whether it was raising hogs or doing steel work or fixing things.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's got something. Everybody brings a piece of that. That's why no one man got it all. No one man knows it all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't accept that.
Exactly.
We're all
Exactly.
finite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cap, what's on your heart?
Man, I'm glad you got back. Let me say this. You know, the innuendos that Brother Ibrahim throw out, I ain't gonna sit there do no way. I'm calling your name. And you do a whole lot of intellectual masturbation. You jack off at the mouth. While you ain't producing nothing yourself.
Wow.
You come on here as if you know everything, and you offend everybody on this line. The brother asked you something, and you couldn't give this. You gave the same answer about what the solution that we all been given. Sometimes, brother, when you open up your mouth, you put your brains on display. I'm tired every time we go to you, you come up with this negativity. Like you some intellectual, wise scholar. Man, you can take everything you know and put on a pen here. I just had to say that. I'm tired. I keep hearing you, brother, why he ain't trying to get us through the past, and he keep coming back. I see why you keep his phone on mute. And if you ain't got nothing positive to say, don't say nothing at all. Period.
Wow. Wow. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother?
I think the agitator did a good job because he fired our brother up and he just poured out some knowledge. So I don't know. Maybe it's good to have a brother that makes you a little ticked off, or that makes your brain stirs, and that's good. That's a good thing. I think, and the other caller said we don't all have the knowledge. We don't all know it all. We can learn from each other. I think that's the way God made it. He fixed it all so we can learn from each other. He didn't give us all the same talents and gifts and whatnot, or inclinations, should I say, to do certain things. I like what the brother said about people down in the country. Maybe they don't speak the King's English, but boy, there's some geniuses down here in the South, you see. And in fact, the brothers who gave us the blues and many other forms of good music came up from the South and went up north. And so, so we onto something here. And I like how the other brother expanded on Plato's theory. He said all of these categories have vices, because you can get this. You can be a meditative person, but if you're not careful, you become arrogant, and then you're no good to nobody, but yourself. So this is good talk this morning, and we're learning from each other. I'm so grateful, man, for your platform, and I'm so grateful for all of the ones calling in and voicing and saying, because I don't know if everybody know, but you're putting together a beautiful puzzle. I'm getting wisdom just listening, I think the scripture says this way: we all have knowledge, but knowledge puffs us up or makes you arrogant. But he said, love edifies. That's what builds you up. So if we love one another and continue to share one another, we build each other up. Just had to say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, every now and then you need a little bit of that, you know what I'm saying? I felt where everybody was coming from, but my response was different because I was like, here you go again. He trying again. But at the same time, I had to say, well, you know what? Maybe he came in late and he didn't hear us say all that he just said.
Yeah, and that's what I said though.
Sometimes delivery is everything, and intention is everything. But then even when you're on the outside coming in and you're a little late, maybe you have to ask, well, has anybody said this? Instead of assuming that it hadn't been said, you know what I'm saying? Because it did make everybody feel a certain way. But I get it. I understand. You know what I'm saying? The thing is what he said was true because we all said it already. But it was just, sometimes we get frustrated and we listen sometimes and we don't hear the thing that needs to be said. I get frustrated on here sometimes. I'm like, man, they up here talking about this. But I listen still and wait till somebody come around. I might say, man, wait a minute, man, we done got off track. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna get nothing out of this. So I get it, but it's still about delivery. I get checked about delivery sometimes myself. You know what I'm saying? We human. So I didn't let it bother me like that. You know what I'm saying? But the old me would have.
Mm-hmm.
So I get where everybody else is coming from too. So man, that just goes to show you how human behavior is, man. How we could receive things and how we can get emotionally. But going back to the topic, man, like I said, he what he was saying was true.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. We are dependent, and we have been bamboozled and conditioned and manipulated into becoming dependent on this system that is created because of the other rewards that made us feel like it was something that we might want to do.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so, it's funny, like, Captain D said earlier, sometimes some of us think we're in the 5%, we're still in the 85% because we still love certain things that would make you 85%, and we don't want to let it go. Subconsciously, we don't think it's a problem.
Exactly.
Certain behaviors that we accept,
mm-hmm.
certain people that we accept, and we go around and we'll say, that's them. And we won't be consistent and say, you know what, man, I can't deal with you because you're not up to my standard of what I consider righteous or fair or a good parent or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're not self-sufficient, but I've been saying this probably since I came on here. If you really want an idea really of how we should function just in the Black community or just the human race period, they should probably look at the Amish. If they don't want to look at the Jews and anybody else, look at the Amish because the Amish aren't greedy. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say look at the Jews and how they function because they are more about having resources and the advantage in capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, too, have to look at the word capitalism and how much of it do we love. Because the only way we will have an 85% or the capitalism will exist or succeed is with an 85%.
Mm-hmm.
And then we might have to ask ourselves, how much into that 85% are we? Because some of us don't realize it. Like I said earlier, the 85% might not even realize that they're being bamboozled. They might not even realize the real reality.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. 508. Let me get the number one more time. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Somebody wanted to say something?
Yeah, that's me, Ibrahim.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
I don't go with the impression that I don't know everything, but I may know more. I know you know things that I don't know, and I may know things that you don't know. Now, because your ignorance or willful ignorance, because you assume
Ibrahim,
that I know everything.
Ibrahim, hold on 1 second, brother. Let me see stuff like that. You're calling people ignorant. You calling people ignorant and stuff like that, brother. That ain't gonna sit well with nobody. It doesn't matter, brother. It's not. I don't think it's right for you to. I'm not gonna call anybody ignorant because of the way they think, or I'm not gonna do that, man. Because that's totally disrespectful. And for you to you willful ignorance and stuff like that, brother. Let me finish. My thing is this right here, brother. We don't get on here, and maybe I didn't lay the preference, or maybe I didn't say this to you, but I know we had this conversation before. I know we did, but maybe you don't remember. We're not on here to disrespect each other. We have to respect everybody's opinion. I give everybody the right to have their opinion and enforce their opinion. I ask what's on your heart. Everybody have the right to say what they feel. We're not on here to disrespect anybody, call anybody ignorant and all the other things. We don't do. That's not what we do here, brother. And so maybe we need to have the conversation again. Maybe we need to have it on this platform so everybody can hear us having this conversation. That's not what we do. Make your point without disrespecting or name calling and doing different things like that, brother. You're of a certain age. You know better than that, bro. Come on now. You're bigger than that. You're bigger than that.
I know well enough when somebody insulted me, right? And you heard him talk. You heard him call me a bunch of things, right? But you didn't. You insult me. You insult me.
Hold on.
You insulted me. I heard a lot of preaching. I know who you was talking about. You threw the first stone.
I say what he said, right? And here you go again. Now you cut me off. You beat me, right?
Go ahead, brother. I'm letting you speak. Go ahead. Say what's on your heart, brother. Go ahead. We got to move on. We can't stay here long. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes to get it out. Let's move on though. We're not gonna stay here.
Go ahead. It's double standard. Go ahead. Go.
Brother, if you want to say what you want to say, okay. Appreciate it. Captain, you want to say something as well? 2 minutes.
Deserve a 3. He deserve a 3, Raheem. He don't
already talk. Rico. He don't already talk 2 minutes already. He don't already talk 2 minutes. I was gonna give him 2 extra minutes, but was gonna equate to 4 minutes. I was giving him more time. He elected not to take it. That's on him. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I pass.
Let me see. Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
So it's right here, right? This is this is a distraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
The things that we still have to discuss as adults, right? Because sometimes, you know, we keep acting that way because, you know, we're not checked on it. And I think that we need to learn as adults that we just have to, you know what I'm saying? Some things have to be talked out, and sometimes we have to find the right place to talk it out. Like right now is not the time to talk about it, y'all, because we're having a show, right? And afterwards, because we're family, we come on here every day and we don't want to be offensive to someone. I'm gonna wave the white flag because I feel like we will start to disrespect Raheem. You know what I'm saying? At that point. But it is what it is, and back on topic, which is one of the reasons why we can't move forward, right? Because we allow distractions to come and break up the building of whatever it is, instead of being able to still focus on business. Why is it that as family we can't have a disagreement and still focus on what we committed to commit on, which is moving a generation forward?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And this is why we need generals and leaders. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we need parents and head of households, because you know what? You can't fight and squabble amongst each other, but you need someone to call and regain order back again, because we still got a goal that we got to focus on instead of just going off in other different directions. So whether we need to learn how to contain ourselves or fall back for the moment, right? Because I'm a lady, you know, we always like to have the last word. But at sometimes when being a leader supersedes being a man or a woman, just as a leader, you have to know when to wave the white flag and say, hey, we paying homage to the show right now. And after the show, we probably need to go ahead and have some conversations so we can move forward. I'm just going to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? But back on track, Raheem. Throw that topic back out there. Let's get back on track so we can wrap up these next 28 minutes.
Absolutely. And let me go to Ibrahim, because I know Ibrahim got something on his heart right now. Brother, what's on your heart? What are you talking about, man? 85%, 85%, 10%, 5%. Is 85% really ignorant? And what do we need to do to wake that 85% up so they can be a more productive part of this society in which we live in? Mr. Hicks?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was really wrapped up in that thing, and just what happened. But I think I was talking. I want to get back to your point, but I think I was talking earlier about that, doing the others you have them doing to you. And I think that is a guidepost in our interaction with each other. But I know this here, that when I'm reprimanded, even when I was in the military, I was just like one of them kind of guys all my life. You got to talk to me right. But as I matured, I learned how to let things go. And that's really practicing this thing. How would I want somebody to treat me when I'm out of order? But I'm a grown man, and most people on here are adults. And there's a way you talk to adults. This is the way you talk to me. And the way I'm going to talk to you, it's going to be respectful. And the difficult thing is how to be respectful to somebody when they're disrespectful to you. But that's the walk. That's the way. Not to return evil for evil. But at the same time, that's what the battle of the flesh, where you want to do something with your flesh. When someone attack you as an adult and a man in a way that they shouldn't, you feel that it's unjust, unright, you put your flesh to test how you're going to respond. But that's our daily walk. Respond to it right. But I don't like anybody talking to me any kind of way, even when I'm wrong. I don't care if you're a cop. I don't care if you're a judge. I don't care who you are. I want respect. And everybody else do too.
Exactly.
So I'm a little emotional about this stuff.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
serious.
I see.
I'm saying in ranks, if you have described whatever you want, I'll be locked up because you ain't gonna do it to me.
Absolutely.
That was then, but this is now. But if we was gonna have constructive communication, there gotta be certain elements of respect. You respect a woman just because she's a woman, and you respect a man because he's a man, because he's capable of acting out just like you are.
Exactly. Rico, let's talk solutions, brother. What are some of the solutions that we could have? How do we wake that 85% up? Or do you think they even want to be waking up?
Some of them don't want to be awoken. Like I said, I mean, you know, they enjoy the rewards. I mean, they don't know any better. So it's hard to break them from what they view as success or what makes them comfortable. You know what I mean? It's you know, it's like I said earlier, we are a whole human race of addicts. Our dope might not be crack, but it might be sugar, it might be food, it might be gambling, it might be cigarettes, it might be money, it might be sex, or it might just be fear. Some people are addicted to fear. You know what I'm saying? They love being worried about stuff. They don't even want to go outside. So it makes them comfortable to stay in the house and become hermits. You know, and you can't break them from that because that makes them comfortable. You know, I mean, it's so many instances of just human beings. If you just observe people, you can tell what they desire.
Yep. Pay attention.
You can tell what they value. And when you see what they value, they're going to put that before anything. See, people, that's why I say talk is cheap. Words ain't nothing but sound that come out of your mouth. People can say they love you and do this and that, and you don't see them for months or talk to them for months at a time. But every time you turn around, they're showing you what they really value because they're doing it all the time.
Wow.
They're showing you who they really value the most and who they want to be around because they're really doing it all the time. So, I mean, when you are hooked on what you like, when you are hooked on the reward that you want, or if you have a desire and a need for survival, like I said, it might be some medical treatment, it might be a surgery, then you're gonna have to conform and do some things. That's why I say all the time, sometimes people do some strange things for a little change.
Exactly.
But the ones that are mainly bamboozled are the ones that are doing it for the things that they want. The ones that are doing it out of necessity, they really not doing it intentionally. They just doing it because they got to survive.
Wow.
So, and I think we have to identify those conditions and get people to even understand what conditioning means. Once you start breaking it down, you know, like I said, you can't give people 3 and 4 generations worth of wisdom in 3 hours. Well, so that's 3 minutes. So, you know, even when we on here, sometimes, man, we try to break down so much wisdom in 3 minutes that the average person that don't know nothing but how to be a dope boy ain't got time to listen because you ain't got to something he interested in time enough.
Wow. 508. You're the number one more time. We got about 20 minutes before we get out of here. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We're live right now. Give us a call. We love to have your input. Willow, what's on your heart, sis?
Hey, Raheem. I love listening to Rico because he is so wise in what he says. And you know, you trying to break down some little wisdom in 3 minutes. And sometimes you baffle because you're trying to get one subject to another subject. But I do understand when you're talking about conditions. And I was listening to a young lady yesterday. I hope I'm not going off the subject. And she was of a different culture. She was about I want to say like Indian. You know, where they had a dots in their head. And I was listening to her, Raheem, and I hope this adds to the subject of how you can't change anybody. You only God can change anybody, first of all. And this young lady, you know, I was listening, I was so sad for her. You know, she her culture and her parents pick her mate for her. And she has to marry someone that she don't even know or love. But she has to live with that person for the rest of their life. And I was saying to myself, oh my God, I don't even think about the privilege that I have living where I live in the United States, that I can marry and my parents, and I can marry anybody I want to, in and out of relationships if I want to. And here people are living in a culture where your parents pick your mate and you got to live with them for the rest of your life. So change, we can't change people or people in different cultures. Life is what it is. And without God, that's just what I believe, Raheem. Without God in my spiritual walk, I can't do anything and nothing without them. And one last thing, Raheem, I tell my children this world is not your production. You have not created a film or a script. So whenever you go out into this world, be prepared to whatever you are given, how to deal with it in a certain way. Don't allow people to change you. You have to deal with it on the direction that you know how. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't let it change you. You change the situation.
Absolutely.
That's what because you can't tell people how to talk, what they think. The only thing you can do is how you deal with it. That's the only thing you can do.
Absolutely.
And that's what's on my heart right here.
Good deal. Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? And we got another caller. We're going to go to the call in just 1 second.
You know, I was listening to a lot of the things that was being said, you know, and there's the different kinds of minds and all that, right? There are times where the way a person speaks or says certain things that can come across confusing. And I was having a little bit of a conversation in our little private chat box, and it was interesting how, you know, a few weeks ago we were able to say a few words or things like that, even if someone was on the call. And now all of a sudden today, it's not acceptable.
I don't know if I understand what you're saying, brother. Make it clear.
Well, like the ignorant thing. You know, make comments about other people being ignorant and stuff, and even I'm guilty of it. And it's talking about word usage, and you know, even talking about Plato and things like that. Yet we also talk about solutions and so on and so on. But here we are on a show where we have different people of different experiences, different types of knowledge, different types of perceptions, where there are times of where there is a bias or a certain comments made to others on the show to either negate or misunderstanding or things of that nature. And we're also supposed to represent how we can get along. And I hope that people that are listening and stuff realize that, yes, there are times where some of us don't get along, and there's, you know, because there's a difference of an opinion or there was a misunderstanding because of how someone talks. Yet, some of us are actually open-minded enough to be able to work through it, and even sometimes come to agree to disagree, because the other people also have value in what they know.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But my thing is this right here. And all that is fine. That's good. But my thing is we're not. And I stand on this. I'm gonna stand on this to the last time we do any broadcast. Ain't nobody gonna come on and disrespect anybody. We're not gonna call each other out ignorant and all kind of names like that. That's not what we're gonna do. And when it get to the point where we start doing stuff like that, that's why I'm gonna have to stand up and say, look here, that's not acceptable here. That's not gonna happen. And that's just what it is. You know, it's not gonna happen here. Regardless of who it is, it's not gonna happen. That's just my stance on that, brother. That's how I feel about it, and I stand on that. We got another young lady. I told y'all yesterday this young lady. She said she's running for office, and she's actually on board with us this morning. And that. Good morning, young lady.
Yes. Good morning, everybody.
I told y'all. She said she's running for office. I'm gonna let her. I'm gonna get my little 3-minute timer. Give me your elevator speech. And then tell me what you got going on. Yeah, what's really going on? Talk to me.
Wow, you know what? Well, I'm really basking in really the conversation of, you know, I read a book a long time ago called Desiderata, and it talks about even the dull, and this is what it says in this book, even the dull and ignorant have something to say. And I just applaud everybody for what they're doing. And we have to read between the lines. I want us to read between the lines when people talk. And you know what Grandma used to say? Take what's good. So I'm just telling everybody, take what's good. Take what's good out of the conversation. Let's move. But I am a candidate for U.S. Senate in Georgia as write-in candidate.
Okay.
And the interesting part about that is, you know, when I looked at the United States Senate, I don't know if you guys are aware. How many women do you guys believe are in the U.S. Senate? Just a question to throw out. Just guess. Guess.
10. I'm just throwing the number out there.
Okay, more than that. More than that. Just guess.
32.
Okay, less than that.
Okay, 12.
No, you said less than 20. There are 24 women in the United States Senate, and I'll have to tell you, none of them are African American. Did you know that?
No.
Okay. All right. So I'm just throwing historical facts. None of them are African American. There are only 2 women who are running for United States Senate in the country. Val Dennings is running against Marco Rubio out of Florida, and Annette Davis Jackson in Georgia as a candidate for U.S. Senate as a write-in. So I just wanted to give you that. You know what? I don't, convincing somebody to vote for you, I would say really, all of us have to do our research and find out, wait, I got a U.S. Senator, I got somebody running for U.S. Senate. Why are they running? What's the purpose? I'm a Spelman College graduate. And you know what I said? Wow, had we ever thought that a Spelman College graduate could also be at one of the top positions in the state of Georgia? But because she's an English major for Spelman College, she might also be the Speaker of Congress. Had anybody ever thought about that? Had anybody ever thought that we might need some new, fresh blood in the United States Congress? Number one, to stop what is considered activity where we do disrespect each other. Somebody has to begin to do that. And I hope that, I'm that woman to begin to do that. Now you have to write my name in. And I said, you know what? Wouldn't it be good if instead of voting, people just, instead of clicking an X, that they did one standard, that they had one standard. We had standards in schools when we got in trouble, but this is good trouble, like John Lewis said. Wouldn't it be good if we just had one standard and we wrote Annette Davis Jackson's name in the box, because it became a we the people concept, and that you didn't tell us, from, radio ads or TV ads or everybody going against each other, that we had to put the X, but we had to do one standard. And that standard bearer was Annette Davis Jackson, to put a new era of leadership, because we're going into a new era. And that's all I'll say.
Good deal. Good deal. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I love the fact that she's a write-in, and a lot of people aren't aware that there is such a small amount of Black women or women in our Congress, in our Senate. So I definitely, I'm in Georgia, so I can vote for you. So I'll do a write-in. I'm going to research you now. I'm going to tell you. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you know what? Thank you. And I'll tell you, we have to just really follow the money. Do you know that there's so much going on with the feds, okay, which is a private industry? There's so much going on with us needing to acquire gold. There's so much going on with us elevating our dollar, where other nationalities won't try to devalue our dollar. I want people to know there's so much going on that rather than us fighting against each other over emotional issues. No, people are making moves financially, and we need to understand that the systems of finance.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Let me go to say it again. Somebody wanted to say something? Yes.
Yeah. She asked a question about, I guess, the relevancy of her candidacy as a woman. But the reality is, if the Republicans are trying to fill off 10% of the Black vote, or the independents, it could throw the election into the MAGA camp. And We just came down that road for 4 years. We know what's down that road. So I'm going to be very careful with my vote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to lose our margin that we have in the Senate and the House right now. That's my point.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Rico?
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you are having the courage to do it. Congratulations. More power to you. Good luck. I'm going to do my research, and I hope you have some in your background to show that you are about your word, that you are consistent, and that you are trusted to be able to get in that position, even though I can't vote in Georgia. You know, I think that would be something important that people would need to know, your track record on your word.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Captain,
and what you stand for.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rico. Finish your thought, brother.
And what you stand for.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Cap?
Let me say this, and I wish our sister great success in her endeavor. I want to apologize to the Morning Globe. Please forgive me, family. I'm absolutely, that's not Captain D. Y'all know that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to apologize to my brother Ibrahim. If I said anything that has been insulting, disrespectful, please humbly accept my apology. I did took what you said a little bit as an insult, but I'm a little bigger than that, and we don't want to become distracted. Sometimes people call it emotional outbursts and all. Sometimes it is that, but I'm absolutely sorry. Please,
yes,
from
sir.
the bottom of my heart, Morning Glow, and you, Raheem,
yes, sir.
taking and allowing my feelings and expressing in a way that insulted my brother that he felt it was an insult. So please, on everybody, accept my apology, and I humbly, but most certainly try to keep sometimes the things that I feel about everybody. I just don't want to be the kind of person that throw innuendos on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I try to always see the best in everybody on this line, and I think y'all some very brilliant men and women. I sincerely say that. We will find sometimes moments of disagreement, but please, let us disagree but not become disagreeable.
Absolutely.
Forgive me, y'all, for my apology. That's all I got to say, Brother Ryan.
Absolutely. And it is accepted, brother. Definitely accepted. Let me go to Toya with a T. What's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was big. That was big.
Yeah.
I want to apologize. Totally get that, again. And I guess I apologize too. But again, I think, we just have to be mindful. That's just all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? When we, speak out and we know that we are dealing with a large variety of people and audiences, I just think we need to be mindful to not just make it seem like, it's all about us and nobody else. Matter. Nobody's opinion is that small. You know what I'm saying? Certain things that other people laugh at, like I you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna laugh at. And sometimes I feel like that when we say certain things, but that doesn't come up with any solution. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's still before you can get to the solutions phase, there's a discussion in the planning phase. In that discussion and planning phase, you're getting feedback from everyone in the community, not just from the group of people that sit before you. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, whether you're running for office or whatever, I think that when you're a leader, you should just be mindful of trying to, downplay, anyone else's opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think for one, if you want to be respected, you know what I'm saying? And then for two, it's not about you. It's all of us that makes the Morning Glow. You know what I'm saying? It's all of the different, feedbacks that makes the Morning Glow. And that's your show. You know what I'm saying? So, my thing is, I just think that we should be mindful, and sometimes, I don't think you have to call a name, but if we do, that's fine too, because you can't tell nobody, you know what I'm saying, how to respond, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is at the end of the day, and I just like to acknowledge the fact that when we notice we're wrong, we gotta talk about it, pick it up, and keep moving. But I gotta throw this out there before we go. Lead poison, somebody threw that out there earlier, right? Lead poison. I hope we get with her before, but I gotta throw this out there because this is what I wanted to say before it started. That's big, right? And when you look at what lead poisoning does, which is in most of the water, it causes cardiovascular issues with the mind, and those are some of those top things that are high in Black communities. Just throw that out there. Water, you know what I'm saying? Mental health, all that goes hand in hand. So I think that we should throw that out there too. When we think about the 85%, I'm just throwing that out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they're not eating properly, if they're being induced by things that can be a part of the spell, that's how you can become 85% of the population until you start to take things like maybe a fasting, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a breaking away from the smoking or the drinking, or you know what I'm saying? That's how you become to get free and clear of some of these things. But it's a part of life, man. And you're right. Some people don't want to be woken. Some of us don't want to even go on after we have the fallout. But even after the fallout, the goal is to still focus on what the job is at hand. And the goal is to move our generations forward. So despite whatever we just went through, we finna pick this back up and get back on track and acknowledge the fact that there are things that help influence and how we got to come up with solutions to break away from it together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, in a way, kind of what Toya was saying. Learning not to negate other people's experiences, and sometimes having an open enough mind to understand where a person's coming from or why they're speaking the way that they're speaking. Because sometimes we can take people wrong and it wasn't their intention. They're speaking on their experience and the vocabulary that they know. I mean, I run into that issue every day, all the time. And a lot of us are very educated or have experienced things in life that led us to walk a very spiritual path of understanding to some degree. And within that, it's we're human beings. We all make mistakes. Some of us talk very different. Some of us aren't able to relate emotionally. Some of us aren't able to control our tones. Some of us don't know how to properly say something where it doesn't get taken wrong. And it's learning to have that open-mindedness.
Good deal.
And understanding that, yes, we're different.
Cool.
Sometimes the message is more important than the way it's delivered.
And I can agree with that. I can agree with all that. But like I say, I think it takes away from the message, the quote unquote, the message, when you get to a point where you start name calling. I think that takes it to a totally different level. And I think that's what I was speaking about, the disrespect and stuff like that we're not going to do. That's the part I was talking about. We can't do that. Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
Anything on your heart before we get out of here?
Yes, sir.
Anything on your heart? Come on now. Come on.
No, I'm just grateful for everyone on here. And Cap, can I tell you that I have the highest regard for you as a man, because you are always willing to say, you know what, I'm sorry. That's that's hard for a lot of people to do. So I want you to know that I highly respect you in who you are, and I appreciate the fact that you would say openly, I'm sorry for anything that I said. And I'm, I know I'm a hothead. I'm still growing.
No.
I'm a Christian. I'm still growing, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's certain buttons that you push that will send me into orbit, and I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm 63, and I'm willing to admit that I'm still growing. Because it's some places you touch me where well, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna
Mhm.
yell. So,
Mhm.
you know, and then I'll have to come back and apologize. But
Mhm.
thank you so much, Raheem, for the platform that we have. I
Praise
think
God.
for the most part, all of us on here respect each other and respect each other's opinion,
Mhm.
and that's why we continue to come back. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, and I love everybody on our panel.
And look at, and we love you too, sis. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yeah, yes, Lord. We do. Yes, we do. Listen, to God be the glory, man. We're about to get out of here. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to hear or see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Now, Rico, you talking about the conversation, the fireworks, and everything? All that, all that.
Yeah, you come back and catch all the hot stuff, the sensationalism.
Wow.
Got juicy today. You know what? No, I'm gonna say this, man. I said it in the post early on Facebook. Before all that started happening, man. Before that went sideways the way it did, man. We was killing it.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
were killing it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, had he, probably heard it from the beginning and then came in with what he came in with, it would have been on point. It was just that small distraction.
Yeah.
So I always have to be cognizant of those distractions. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we can let small things like that derail a lot of stuff and get us off of focus. And that really has happened in society. So, we got to pay attention to not get distracted by those type of things. That's why I laugh about it.
Exactly. Well, I know she had left. Rico, she left, man.
Come on, bro.
I don't know if she came back. Now I know she left for a minute. Now, did she come? Is she back?
Oh, I heard her come on back.
You heard
her come on back.
She's here. She's here.
Y'all sure?
Raheem,
Y'all
let's
sure?
go. Let's go, Raheem.
Hold on. I got to say it though. Willow.
Raheem, let's go, Raheem.
Let me say it again.
Go.
Let me say it. I gotta say it one more time. Willow, are you ready?
Raheem,
Are
let's go.
Well, all right, good deal with Willow. I ain't gonna say nothing else. Let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Let's go before the throne of grace this morning. I tell you, I know God was here. Father, we thank you, Lord. Father, you said that when there are two or more gathered in your name, that you will be in the midst. Father, you said that you are not the author of confusion. And Father, I love it. I love it, Lord, when I know that you got the victory. I know you got the victory this morning. I thank you so much for it, Lord. Thank you for waking us up, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to commune one to another with a message, Lord, a message from you, oh Lord. Father, we thank you for the example. We thank you for the example of how we're supposed to treat one another, how we're supposed to love one another, even in confusion. Father, we thank you for that lesson. I thank you, Lord. I thank you for your grace and your mercy that you give us every day, even though we don't deserve it. Yes. I thank you, Lord. I thank you for being a keeper, Lord. I thank you for answering our prayers, oh Lord. Father, I'm giving you the praise this morning. I'm giving you the honor and the glory. Father, I thank you for all you do. In Christ Jesus' name, keep DKM Radio 1.1, keep it successful, and allow Raheem to continually be the leader that you give him each and every day. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen, 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 amen. I thank you, Lord.
Yes, Lord. Rico?
Hey, you can't follow that up, man. Can't do nothing but ride with it, man. I love it.
There you go. Toy, you with the anything on your heart before we get out of here, sis? Toy, you with the she must have stepped away for a second. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, anything on your heart before we get out of here? Everybody then went this way. Everybody went.
Yes, sir.
Anything
Can I
on?
say one thing?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Absolutely.
When Brother Captain did that, I felt a warmness in my heart. and he gave me a living example. I said, the Creator, give me the perfect example of how to do that. Because I've been wrong so many times and tried it a different way. He did it so perfect. I thank for that example and for the warmth that he put in my heart, because there's nothing but love here.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
got to think it and feel it, especially within his family. We can generate it, be more powerful, and have an impact on the people who pass by every day in our lives.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate Brother Captain, and that humility taught me a lesson.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah. Hey, Brother Raheem,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to second what our brother just said. Mad love for Captain. In fact, all of the wise people spreading wisdom on this platform, man. I thank you for your leadership, and I pray that every one of you have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. To God be the glory, brother. To God be the glory. It's all him, man. And like I say all the time, if anybody ever see me, man, I've gotten in the way, and I got to apologize to my father for getting in the way, because it's all him. It's all him. It has nothing to do with me at all. Thank you. I appreciate it. But it's all him, man. To God be the glory. We're about to get out. Now, hold on, Willa. Willa. I don't know about when Willa get quiet over there. Willa, what's on your heart? When Willa get quiet,
Man,
I
I
get
tell
nervous.
you, Raheem, I just thank you so much for this show. You know, you're giving out lessons, life lessons every day. Every day. I'm so glad that God gave you the vision and put it on your heart to do that. I just don't know, Raheem. I don't have words to tell you how grateful I am for you, the people that I met, that I love. I don't even know what they look like, but I love them.
Absolutely.
So I just want to thank you, Raheem, that you were obedient to what God has given you. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
Raheem.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And like I said, to God be the glory. I got to give it right back to him. Because it's all him. It's all him. It has nothing to do with me at all. It's all him. We got to get out of here today, man. Look, this has been a great broadcast, man. We covered so much today. And I think, and I hope in my prayers that we help somebody on their journey. It is now 10:08. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK and Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It's about 10:08. It's 10:08 in the morning. We're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before we go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Have a great day. And see you tomorrow morning, if God say the same. Love you.
Have a great